sit tight with it, and we will bring you the show for the next couple hours, and we got a lot to talk about. There is, again, so much intrigue in the first 10 picks. Boy, oh boy. Let's get Jeff on. Let's get this show kicking. My dad's on. We'll talk NFL, and we're just gonna we're gonna burn it tonight, boys and girls. Let's see what the NFL draft brings for us. And there's no other better way to get this going, and better way to get the NFL season started than bringing on my best bud and my partner for a long time on the show, Mr. Jeff, Giants draft Bo Nix Talwinski.
Yeah, that's my prediction, man. If not Bo Nix, I see the Giants doing something silly.
Well, we'll beg to differ, but Jeff, like I said, first off, Jeff, let's start the show the right way. Jeff, how was your week?
You know what, Tom? My week was really good this week.
It was. Why do you say that?
Because it started on Saturday.
Oh, yes, you did have a good. Yes, good. You can tell everybody.
No, I got to see you guys. I've won a couple hands in cards, which got me my money back. The Jets traded Zach Wilson.
A good, interesting point. Yep, that is a yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And just to really quick on the, and we'll probably dig more into that as the Jets pick is coming, but. I was surprised, and I'll tell you why. I thought the Jets had no other choice but to cut him. And the fact that the Broncos, who, again, have a very needy position at quarterback, traded for Zach Wilson was interesting to me. So I thought the Jets getting anything. Now, they did have to trade. I think they traded Zach Wilson and a number 6. Or another pick, wasn't it? Or what? How does that go?
7.
Number 7. So
7, but it wasn't even the irrelevant pick, Mr. Irrelevant.
No.
Kept that pick.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, again, an interesting development. I would have thought there was no way in the world, but I did say I thought it would be draft night when that happened, but the Broncos wanted to fill up the room, and they did, and the Jets had no choice but to get rid of Zach Wilson. There was no way in the world he could be on the roster next year. It would have just been a mutiny if he was the backup quarterback or even on the roster at this point. So good job by Joe Douglas getting anything back, Jeff, at this point.
Considering that they traded Justin Fields and got a 6th-round pick for him, them getting, even though they had to include a 7th rounder, which is basically nothing at this point in time.
Yep.
Awesome move by him. I will say that much. But let's save the pats on the back until he does something worthwhile, like something good in the first round. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's again. Let's get a little deep into it. So right now, this is a very interesting draft, Jeff. Like we've had some years in the past, we've done the show where it's kind of mechanical. Basically who's going to go and who's going to go where, and every once in a blue moon. This is an interesting draft because after the first 2 picks, which will definitely be quarterbacks, the question is going to be, who do the Redskins take at 2? And does that affect who the Patriots want at 3 and or will they trade? So if everybody seems to think Jaden Daniels is going to the Redskins and that the Patriots covet Drake May, and I think a lot of teams do, if the Redskins were to change up and take Drake May, does that change the Patriots' philosophy and do now they trade out? So, and then what do the Cardinals do at 4? They have a couple of picks in this draft. And where do they trade down? And how aggressive are the Vikings with 2 number 1 picks? So this first 4, 5, or 6 picks are going to be very interesting. And I think there could be, and I will give you my top 10, because last year I started out 5 for 5. I think I only got another 1 or 2 more of the top 10, but I started out 5 for 5. I will give you my top 10 in a minute, but I think this could be a very interesting draft after the 2nd pick of the draft.
Well, listen, nobody knows who's going where. And a lot of these picks that they say this guy's going 2nd, this guy's going 3rd, but I don't hear anybody really talking much about him. And even Williams going at number 1, that's been projected for a while, but yes. Nobody's talking about him really. They seem to be talking more about picks 2 through whatever to see where all of those pieces are going to land. That seems to be more of people's concerns than who the 3rd pick of the draft is. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And now let's. I want to get my dad on in a minute, but we're going to get into, right after my dad, we're going to get into, and again, the draft officially starts at 8:00. So Jeff and I will be on. I'd like to say we'll make it to at least the Jets at number 10. That should put us in the area of about 10 o'clock. So we'll run a little late tonight as long as Jeff's got the energy for it. I'd like to stay on till at least we see that. If the Jets were to move up in the draft, which I don't see, maybe we'll be off a little earlier. But I think there's a better chance of the Giants moving up or down. And we'll get to both teams. We'll get to what I think is going to happen with the Giants. Jeff will give his take on the Jets and the Giants, and then we'll get ready for 8:00. And again, there's going to be a lot of stories tonight. How many quarterbacks go early? Is there a run? Let me ask you this question, Jeff. Do you think there's a chance the first 4 or 5 picks we see 4 quarterbacks go off the board?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
I said, do you think in the first 4, say 5 picks, so that gets us through the Patriots, the Cardinals, and the Chargers, whether they pick or via trades, do you think we could see the top 3 guys and then either J.J. McCarthy or Penix or Bo Nix come off the board in the first 4? Can we have four straight?
Yeah, I think so. I think up until Arizona, people are going to be taking quarterbacks.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
The first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks. Arizona has 2. If I was Arizona, I wouldn't trade out of their spot because they would have their pick of the best receiver, best player available at that point in time, which, I don't like that phrase as it is, but basically whoever they want, because the first 4 teams are going to be fighting it out to see who gets quarterback.
Well, again, so Arizona sitting at number 4 is in an interesting spot because they could trade down to number 11 with the Vikings or 12 or 13 with one of those teams and still come away with a big blue chip player because, if 4 quarterbacks go that early, because if Minnesota's moving up, it's to grab a quarterback. If the Broncos move up that far, it's a quarterback. Now, I think the Minnesota has the best chance because they have 2 first-round picks that they could offer to move up that high. And they desperately need a quarterback. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that team needs a quarterback for the future. Their quarterback room right now is Sam Darnold, Jaron Hall, and Nick Mullins. Not exactly inspiring fear in the NFC North. So,
no, listen. There are a lot of teams, including our buddy here, Frank Catalano, and his team. I just don't understand that move. I don't understand.
Well, here's why. Because their quarterback room at the moment is Zach Wilson, Ben DiNucci, and Jarrett Stidham. So they're just compiling anybody just in case. So,
yeah, but that's like saying that I picked my grandfather to be a quarterback on my team, but he's 90.
I agree. I think if they can't move up, there is a good chance that they will reach at that pick for a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix, either one are decent quarterbacks. But both of those guys, most publications, and for me, those guys are at least second-round picks. And Michael Penix got a huge injury history. He's got a very odd delivery of the football. I don't see him as a classic NFL quarterback. Some people love him, left-handed, can make a little throws. So I think this is this first 10 picks are going to be so interesting, and I think there could be places where teams like the Giants who could look up and say, okay, 4 quarterbacks went early, and there will be a player at 11. I can trade up, I can trade out of there with one of those teams. So I think there's a few spots that are locks, but I think from 3, 4, 6, probably 9 with the Bears, and possibly 10 with the Jets are all places where teams can move. So this is going to be an interesting first 10
minutes. We'll see. I just, I don't. There's a lot of things that can happen. We all know that, and every draft night we say that, and you just don't know how it's all going to play out.
Yep.
Listen, there's some teams that we may be thinking that they want this, they want that, and then they're going to, blow your mind and take a linebacker out of nowhere. You just don't know. When people all the time are saying best player available, it's maybe not always best player available. It's who we want at that point in time. Like if our man's available, we got to take him. And
I agree.
That's how it works.
But here's the thing, Jeff, and no matter what happens, if you're picking in the top 10, maybe I won't say 15, I'll say top 10 or 12, especially the top 10, you have to come out of there no matter what with a non-draft bust. Whether you didn't take the quarterback who turns into a great player, if you draft the next big wide receiver, but you missed on the quarterback, you can at least say, hey, I got a great player. What you can't do here, especially nowadays, is reach for a player and have him fail, because players in this day and age who you can hold on to for 4 or 5 years and their salaries are low are huge. So if you got a player and 2 or 3 years in, you're getting rid of him or you're moving on or you're not giving him a second contract, that hurts the franchise. So to me, you got to make it right. So if I am not in love with any of these quarterbacks. And to me, the best quarterback, or the guy I think is best ready, is Drake May. Anybody after that, I think it's got huge question marks. So let's go to see. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna follow it along. We got everybody hanging with us tonight. I want to say a couple things. Thank you to Jeff and his lovely wife for having us all over last week to play cards, and we put out a great spread. And there is an investigation into the fact that Jeff was the biggest and probably only winner of the card game, but they did a great job hosting the event. And
listen, you can't fight skill, bro. You can't fight skill.
Yeah,
you want to try, you could try.
I did, and I will have them uploaded at some point. I would assume we'll play them before those teams pick, unless we're getting off early.
Listen, the one that's no longer here, that could go at any given time. He's just poking it in. As far as the other one goes, once he says something stupid, man, hit him, win it.
Okay.
Might as well, right? But
yeah. So, again, there was a lot of people who wanted to join us tonight, and I apologize to all the people that I said no to. I just wanted to try to keep it down to Jeff and I tonight. I think there's a lot going on, and I didn't want it to. I don't want to use the word clutter, but I didn't think bringing on any extra people tonight was all that necessary. But thank you to everybody who asked, and hopefully, we'll do something different. But we'd love everybody to follow along with us along the way, right, Jeff?
What's that? I'm sorry.
We would love to have everybody continue to follow with us, like Frank is doing now, and watch the draft with us.
There's always a lot of people when we do this every year. There's a lot of people that try to ask, and it's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot to have too many people involved.
It's hard.
One year we had a lot of people on and a lot of people calling in, and it took away from the draft itself.
Correct. Yeah, you don't really get the feel of the event, and so I apologize to everybody, but we hope you kind of watch us and hang with us and all that good stuff. But give me 1 second. Shoot, this didn't work. Hold on, we got to resend that video. Okay, so let's get my pops on. Let's see what he's got to say, and then we'll get into the Jets and the Giants and what they should and shouldn't do, Jeff. So let's get my dad and see what he's got to say today. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? Look, I don't want to hold you up, you guys up. You could talk about it when I finish with it.
Sure.
I'm more interested in the Jets. What are they going to draft? I'm looking at either a tight end, which Rodgers could really use, or a backup quarterback.
That's interesting.
I have nothing besides him.
Well, that's it, Jeff. You want to handle this? You want me to jump in on this one?
Listen, honestly, I think for right now this year, they have the backup quarterback covered with Tyrod Taylor. But as far as the Jets taking a tight end, I was reading someplace that Aaron Rodgers hardly ever throws to his tight end, and he doesn't use the tight end much. I personally would rather see them get an offensive lineman myself.
Well, that's an interesting point, and I understand what Jeff's saying with that, because you know what? Here's the thing. So right now, why is that doing that to me? Move that. Sorry, I'm just removing one of the live streams, and I'm going to add. There it is. Sorry. Save changes. Okay. Anyway, so. So to me, Pop, I think you're right. And I think Jeff's right in this. So the Jets, while they do need a tight end, and most people seem to think Brock Bowers, the kid from Georgia, who's kind of a quasi tight end, a wide receiver, I should say, is probably where they're looking. But if I were the Jets with Tyron Smith, who's had a real bad last few years, if he stays healthy, he's as good as anybody. But he hasn't. I would be looking at the kid from Penn State. If Joe Alt ever from Notre Dame ever fell that far, I would be grabbing Joe Alt if I were the Jets. And theoretically, Jeff, they could be seeing one of the big three wide receivers. I mean, if enough people jump up, Rome Odunze could be falling. So to add to your point, I think the Jets could go a lot of things, and to their benefit, they put themselves in a position where they can, if they add offense in any way, shape, or form, they're in good shape. As far as they're in the quarterback, they will. It won't be in the first round. There's no way they could take a first round. I think Rodgers would have a heart attack if they drafted a quarterback at number 10.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
Yeah, so
I'm going to let you guys go.
You got it.
You got a big show coming up. Enjoy. Yep. I got a great TV to watch everything that's going on.
Yeah, you got the Knicks on tonight. You got the Knicks.
You got the Yanks.
Yeah,
draft.
Yeah, it's just good sports night. Yeah, it's a good sports night.
And even the Islanders.
Yes, and you got the Islanders too. So enjoy it.
All right, enjoy, guys. Have a good one.
You got it. That's my dad. He checks in every week, and yeah. So Jeff, I got to run. I left some papers on my table that I need. So let me go run and get that. Get you kind of give everybody a minute, and I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. I don't understand what you see in him, man. I really don't. God, man, I do have no idea what you see in that guy. Why do you want him so bad? Tommy's acting up.
Well, you got I had the sack attack. So right now, let me just see if I got the videos Jeff sent me. I did. Let me get them downloaded and uploaded. Sorry, guys, give me a half a minute. Jeff, while I'm doing this, let's talk about the Jets and where, as a Jet fan, as the show prognosticator of NFL news. Okay, you're Joe Douglas. You're sitting at number 10. What are you hoping is there? Are you hoping for the big offensive lineman? Are you hoping for a tight end? What you don't have to give me a specific player. What position right now would you want to have there if you were the Jet general manager?
Tackle.
So you would want Joe Walt.
Well, you want to know something? It seems as though there's at least 4 or 5 tackles that would be an acceptable pick. I don't remember all the names. There seems to be a couple different. I don't want to say narrow it as a Samoan picks, but Samoan-like names.
Yes, that is very true. I can give you Joe Walt, the Notre Dame. He's the number 1 guy. Olu Fashanu from Penn State is number 2. You have J.C. Latham from Alabama, Talise Fuaga from Oregon State, and Troy Fatano from Washington. There are about 4 or 5 guys in this draft who could be legitimate NFL starters.
Look, I mean, in their situation where they have 2 guys, 33 years old, one of them coming from an injury-related season, an operation, the other one that hasn't played a full season in almost 10 years, how could you not take a tackle in the draft? What makes you think that these guys got older and are going to last the whole season?
Yeah,
I wouldn't go into the season like that.
I'm with you. I would give serious consideration. Listen, if you got that point and for any reason, it's between one of the top receivers in the draft and the top 2 offensive tackles, I would be hard pressed if I was Joe Douglas not to take the offensive lineman. And here's why. And I disagree with you a little bit, Carl Graham, because here's why. You just traded for the kid from the Chargers, okay? Williams. You got Garrett Wilson. I don't think throwing the ball this year is listen, yes, the Jets absolutely need a tight end. Absolutely 100%. While I think Bowers is obviously going to be a really good player, the bigger need, and you can put 20 receivers out there if you had to. If Tyron Smith goes down, the Jets are in big trouble, Jeff. So I don't disagree with you. I think if Joe Douglas was smart, he would. And I'm not telling you to reach. If two offensive linemen are off the board, even if one of them is off the board, I would give consideration to who's left. But if I had my choice between a tight end and the top 2 or 3 offensive tackles in this draft, I would have to really take good stock of that, because with the Jets' recent history of bad offensive line play, you're putting a 40-year-old quarterback who hasn't played in almost 2 years out there. Damn sure I want to give him the best 5 guys up front. So Jeff,
totally agree. I listen, everybody has their ideas of which way the Jets should go, and that's fine. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Okay. And it can't hurt, because if he's a good player, he's a good player.
Yep.
He may end up being a great player in the NFL, but they're saying that most of these great tight ends in the NFL weren't first-round picks anyway. And then they're saying that Bowers is a light player. He's not as heavy as, say, a Travis Kelce. So he wouldn't be able to do some of the things that Travis Kelce does. So I would want somebody that I know that could help the team. But also, you have to take into consideration what you just said. One of those guys gets injured, who's stepping into his place?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a big spot for the Jets right now that I don't think they complete. Again, Tyron Smith, fully healthy for a full season, is very adequate. He's not a top 5 player anymore, but he's very adequate. He'll be a significant upgrade. The problem is he hasn't stayed healthy in a very long time.
See,
so
that's another thing too. What you say, that's how sad this situation is. You're saying he's not a great player anymore. He's adequate.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Jets would be happy to have an adequate player playing on the offensive line, because for how long they've had nothing but terrible players.
Right.
So to have an adequate tight end or adequate left tackle or adequate offensive lineman is so much more important than saying that you want to have one of the best in the league. Because even if they had somebody that was adequate, they're still going to be better than some of these other guys. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. So Carl, while I don't disagree with you that the Jets need a tight end, and that's a luxury position for me at this point, I think anything they do to upgrade the offense, and that's another receiver. That's obviously a tight end. But to me, if Joe Douglas was smart, I would not have a problem, and I would not ever come out of this, Jeff, saying Joe Douglas did the wrong thing by drafting one of these top offensive linemen, and they're going to be there. Two of them are going to be there for sure. Joe Alt will probably be off the board with the Tennessee Titans, but I don't see the Falcons going that way. I don't see the Bears. Now the Bears could take an offensive lineman with a second pick. I'm thinking they're going to go maybe go defense there, but there's enough solid offensive tackles that if enough teams trade up, I think it's a smart move by the Jets. They fixed it. They've helped the defense in the offseason. They've added Williams as a receiver. I think it would be prudent to do it. I think it would be now they could theoretically trade back a couple spots and still probably catch one of those 3 guys in the draft. I wouldn't recommend it. If I were the Jets, grab the best offensive tackle in the draft and move on. I am saying they're going to take Bowers. I think they are gung-ho on taking Brock Bowers.
Look at it this way. You get the right offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You get the right left tackle.
Yep.
You can have him in place for 10 plus years.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree.
You know what I mean? As opposed to, say this kid comes out of college and he just falls flat on his face.
Yeah. Carl, here's my problem with that, Carl. You're not drafting this kid to play offensive line. I get he's a great blocker, and it's terrific. But if you have to draft Brock Bowers in order to shore up your offensive line, it's really not. To me, that's not the answer.
Bowers, how is that shoring up your offensive line if they?
Well, because he's a great blocker, so he would double team with the left tackle, whoever it is, and create.
I'd rather have just a young left tackle. Why you want a 33-year-old left tackle for anyway? Because now you're going to be looking for a replacement next year or the year after.
Yeah. So to me, I would prefer the offensive tackle. Now again, it's not a terrible idea to have a tight end who can catch the ball and block. Go back to the old Mark Bavaro days, and guys who will do can do both. I'm with you. It's a different game now. They don't want tight ends lined up with their finger on the ground and their hand on the ground and blocking. It's a luxury to have that. They want these guys to be able to play in the slot or right off the edge of the line and create a mismatch with either, and force them to play either a corner on them or the safety and not have the linebackers on them. So to me, Bowers it fills that thing. And yes, you could put him with his hand in the dirt or make him stand up and block for the running game or help out in the passing game. But to take him in this situation to be strictly to help out blocking as a theory or block and release, again, I don't see that as the play here. But that is what everybody thinks is going to happen. So most people think that the Jets will take Brock Bowers. I do too. I think that's on my board. Jeff's maybe thinking offensive line at this point. Do you have an official pick, Jeff, where you think where the Jets will go?
No, I think they're going to stay where they are. I mean, to move up, they don't have the firepower to move up.
No, but do you think a specific player or a position will be their pick? Is my question.
My gut feeling tells me they're going to go get this kid Bowers. I'm hoping that they go offensive line.
Okay, and that's fair enough. And guys, we're about 23 minutes from the start of the NFL draft. We'll be, I'm assuming we'll get Commissioner Goodell out there, and the usual boos will follow. It's become a tradition, and then we'll stick around and we'll be giving you guys the play-by-play of the draft, and we'll give you our analysis, and we'll hang with you guys, possibly give you guys some highlights. I do have some highlights on the screen if I can get them up quick enough, and we'll stick around for a while. And let's turn our attention to the Giants, Jeff. I think the Giants are a little more interesting because, I have seen the gamut. I've seen the Giants moving up to number 3. I've seen the Giants staying put at number 6. I've seen the Giants dropping back. I've seen the Giants taking Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. There seems to be all over the place for the New York Giants. What are they going to do? And now maybe it's all smokescreen. I will give you my thoughts on what the Giants should and what I think they will do. I'm curious on your end. I know you have them picking Bo Nix, which won't be happening, but do you have a legitimate thought on where the Giants will do at number 6? Will they trade up, stay set, trade back? Do they take a quarterback? Do they take a receiver? What do you think the Giants are going to do in that spot at number 6?
I don't think they should move up. I'll say that. Okay. And then if they move back, all that means is that they're getting some, a decent amount of draft capital back.
Yep.
But I feel as though that they're either going to stay at number 6 and make the pick, which would maybe be a good move for them because there's going to be several available players, whether it's offensive line or receivers, because they're going to fall right into that spot where the quarterbacks may stop being taken at that point in time. Or if they want a quarterback, they'll be in a position to take maybe one of the second-tier quarterbacks. I myself don't think that would be the way to go, that I would be the way to go, but how many times have we seen guys get drafted in the first round and they never make it at all? You know what I mean? It just, they turn out to have horrible careers in the NFL. So, there is no guaranteed player coming out of the first round. So I would have to say, if I was the Giants, you have to listen to any trade that's brought to you.
Oh, I would agree, and I'm sure they've listened all week. I would definitely agree with that. See, I'm with you. I do not think the Giants should trade up. I do not like enough of these the quarterbacks to give up capitals. If I was the Giants and I was going to make a trade, it would be with the Vikings, and because the Vikings have 2 number 1 picks in the first round. So to me, if you're the Giants, I would dig my heels in, and if I were the Vikings and I wanted to move up that far in the draft, they would have to give up both of them, and then the Giants would go after the 2 picks. They would take at that point they would move down to 11 and grab maybe a receiver or one of the offensive linemen. They could then take a corner or a safety. There's a lot of ways to go at that point. But if I was the Giants, I'd say
have a lot of needs too.
Sure, absolutely,
including possibly quarterback. They maybe receiver, offensive line. there's a lot of different ways that the Giants could go. So
Sure.
why not go back, trade back?
Well, again, to put it right now, I don't want to draft. I don't want to go back and swap picks and then come out of there with maybe another a number 3 or another number 2 that's high up in the draft. If I could secure 2 number 1s or a number switching number 1s and a high number 2, I would consider it. Absolutely, to me, absolutely. The Giants need to come out of this. Here's the thing for me, as a Giant fan who watches every single game, I would tell you that the Giants need to come out of this draft with a top flight wide receiver. The Giants need a number 1 wide receiver. Now, there's some depth in this draft after the first 3 guys, but the top 3 guys are legit number 1 guys, should be almost bust proof. So I would be very careful. The laundry list, so everybody's talking about Giants taking a quarterback, Jeff, and I think here's the problem I have. And let me give you a little history. Over the last 5 or 6 years, all right, starting, I'm not gonna start at 23 because that those guys haven't been placed yet. Here are the first round picks, first few rounds of quarterbacks picked in the draft, and you tell me how many of these guys have actually panned out. So 2022, the number 1, the first quarterback taken in the draft was number 20, Kenny Pickett, by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler.
No, I know.
Right? Okay, 2021.
Wait now, hold on one second. In all fairness, think about what you're saying there, because the Pittsburgh Steelers also traded for Justin Fields, and yes, they traded a 6th round pick, but they also aren't picking up his 5th-year option. But
what my point is, you got to be, just because you're taking a quarterback in the first round makes no guarantees. So,
no, I hear, I know exactly what your pick is.
Yeah.
But I also think that you're dealing with a team that's very confused at this point in time. You got rid of Kenny Pickett. Okay, that's reasonable. I could see that. You trade for Justin Fields. Okay, you trade a 6th round pick. Why did you trade for him if you didn't have any plans on possibly keeping him for beyond this year? That I just don't understand. I understand it's a 6th round pick they gave up. Don't get me wrong, but why even get involved and trade for this guy if you're not going to, try to put him as the quarterback of your future?
Yeah, so I agree. So I heard something today interesting. Brian Billick, the old Ravens coach, was on, and he said that the theory that he learned from Bill Walsh, the 49ers coach, was if a guy hasn't achieved his spot, if he hasn't become the player he's going to be by the 24th game of his career, the likelihood is he doesn't get there. So it's interesting. There are some examples of guys who were better later in their career. We could probably dig out in front, but it doesn't matter. And if you look at it, Kenny Pickett, first season was trending up, middle of the second season, 20-something games in, all of a sudden he's benched, and now he's gone. So I understand the theory. But let me just give me a minute. Just indulge me for a minute. So 2022, Kenny Pickett's number 1. He's no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's a Philadelphia Eagle and presumably their backup. Desmond Ridder went in the 3rd round. Malik Willis went in the 3rd round. And Matt Corral went in the 3rd round. None of those guys are starting quarterbacks in the NFL at the moment. 2021, Trevor Lawrence. Okay, we could say he had a little bit of a rough start, but I think he's gaining some footing. But 4 years in, not exactly top of the draft, top of the class of quarterbacks in the league. Next on the list are Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones, none of whom are with their team that would drafted them only a short 3 or 4 years ago, Jeff. Now, 2020 is the one outlier here. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love are all still with their team and starting at this point. We go back just a little further. 2019, Kyler Murray, we could say close to being a bust. Daniel Jones, he's on the precipice of being a bust. Not there yet. Dwayne Haskins is passed. Drew Lock is now a backup on his 3rd team with the New York Giants. Now, here's another one. 2018, Baker Mayfield, not with his original team. Sam Darnold has moved a couple times. Josh Allen, the one guy who's probably legit. Josh Rosen, we don't even know if he's in the league. and Lamar Jackson's still there. 2 players out of 5, all drafted in the first round, not counting Mason Rudolph, Kyle Loletta, Mike White. All guys who drafted early in the draft did not make it. Last one, 2017, Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. Trubisky's bounced around the league. Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league, and Deshaun Watson is the jury's still out on. What is that all telling you, Jeff? Just because you draft a quarterback early in this draft, there's no guarantee that guy is going to be the player you think he's going to be. So to me, unless you're damn sure, the likelihood is, going by that list, is the guy you draft as a quarterback in the first round is just as likely to be as bad as the guy you drafted in the third round.
Listen, that 100% true. 100% true. But you would like to think, going into all of this, everything that you said is 100% true. You would like to think that the guys that are drafted in the first round, and especially the first round and the very early rounds, maybe the second round, maybe the start of the third round, are going to have a better chance and a better skill set entering the NFL to be more successful with their teams. Now, some of these teams, okay, start these guys right away. Some of them like to let them sit. Some of them change coordinators, don't have the right personnel in place. So there is a lot of factors other than just skill set of the person you're talking about. You know, if you have a team that's getting rid of receivers, if they're getting rid of coordinators, they're changing coordinators, changing schemes. And, like how many of these guys, how many different schemes did they have to learn in their first 2 or 3 years in the NFL? Geno Smith, he didn't all of a sudden become the next Tom Brady overnight. You know what I mean? I feel as though that he ended up getting a lucky year or two in. Not that was skill that got him to where he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. By the way, our good buddy Frank Jeffrey is following along on our private chat.
Yes, I saw.
Okay. And Frankie, well, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying, but the likelihood of my point is not specific players. My thought process is, just because you need a quarterback and you're picking the first round in the first 10 doesn't mean that you should reach for a quarterback that you're not sure. Your need should not supplant your eyes and your scouting. So, instead of grabbing that guy in the first round and the 10, go after the guy that you're sure is going to be there, and then take a flyer on the guy in the second or third round. Maybe you come up with the next, Lamar Jackson for lack, or the next Tom Brady, or the guy who's a third or fourth round pick. Give that guy the shot, because the likelihood is you're going to pick in the top 10 and fail with the quarterback. Going by that list, Jeff, there's only Brock Purdy's a perfect example. So to me, at this point, if I'm the Giants, unless you tell me I am Gaga over Drake May and I have an opportunity to get him, if you're just saying, well, the next available decent quarterback is J.J. McCarthy, I'm running from J.J. McCarthy, because there's not enough things there to tell me that guy's going to be a great quarterback. Frankie, I agree. The Giants should take a wide receiver, and they probably will unless they trade down. Then we'll see what happens. But, Jeff, the history of quarterbacks shows you, especially, I'm only going by the last 4 or 5 or 6 years, that you drafted a quarterback in the first or second or third round does not guarantee you success. It doesn't come very much.
Listen, no, I don't think anybody would argue that with you. Just look at Rosen from the draft with Allen and Donald, I believe, and Lamar Jackson. Yeah. He was the made for NFL right this very moment quarterback.
100%.
And who knows what he's even doing? He's probably in the store at a stadium selling hot dogs or jerseys right now. He's not even in the NFL, as far as I know.
I don't know. Last year was with the Dolphins. I don't know. I don't think he's still there. So that's a good point.
Yeah. So it's just because you're in the first round doesn't mean that you're definitely a great player. It's not true.
Yeah. Again, guys, I think McCarthy. See, here's the thing. Well, I think that Jim Harbaugh has done a great job of selling him, because Jim Harbaugh wants somebody to trade up in front of him to the Cardinals the cake, J.J. McCarthy. He wants McCarthy drafted number 4. Why does that make any sense, Jeff? Do you have any idea why it makes any sense?
Because it prevents somebody from taking a player that he wants.
Exactly. He wants Marvin Harrison. He wants Harrison in the 5th pick, and he knows if the Cardinals stay where they're at, they're taking Marvin Harrison. Now, he'll love to take Malik Neighbors. He wants Marvin Harrison. So he is selling to the Minnesota Vikings, to the Denver Broncos, to the Los Angeles Raiders to jump up there in the number 4 spot and overpay for J.J. McCarthy. And here's my question to all you guys who might be J.J. McCarthy fans, and so far nobody really is, but if J.J. McCarthy was such a great player that the NFL, somebody has to draft him in the top 10, why didn't Jim Harbaugh ever feature him? Why didn't Harbaugh ever say, hey, J.J. McCarthy, here's the ball, throw it 50 times today. Go win me 5 games. J.J. McCarthy was asked to make plays when they needed it, but he was not the focal point ever of that offense. I think he's a good player. I think he's a lot like Zach Wilson. You know, all you hear is how gritty he is, how tough he is, how he pushes his team. Team's going to love him. These are the same things I heard about Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson was a complete bust and failure. So,
Tom, keep going. I'm gonna take a leak.
And I think, Frank, you're right. I think J.J. McCarthy is in a lot of ways is Mac Jones, and I got burnt by Mac Jones. I loved Mac Jones in college. Mac Jones was above a game manager, but ultimately his game never progressed in the NFL. And I think when I have to listen to the experts, quote unquote, say how great a throw a guy made with his shorts and t-shirts on, with nobody rushing him, and his buddy running a route for him, is ridiculous. If we want to do it by shirts and shorts, I guarantee you, at 56 years old, I could still make enough throws in shorts and t-shirts to say, hey, that guy used to be able to play. Doesn't matter. What's on film, what I saw, I watched Michigan, and I'm a Michigan fan, by the way. I like Michigan. I watch enough of those games. He is not a good enough pro that I'm going to take him there. Now, if he was around in the 2nd round, I would absolutely pick him, put him on my roster, and give him a couple years to learn the game in the pro level and see if he can adjust to how quick the pro game is. The only guy in this draft, and you can mark it down, that is pro ready at the quarterback spot, and I think even he's got some holes, is Drake May. Jaden Daniels is a good player. I don't think he's a great player, and I think there's some big holes in Caleb Williams' game. So Penix, too many injuries, and watch him throw the football, folks. He's got a very odd delivery, and that does not bode well. He almost shot puts it. Bo Nix, I like, but Bo Nix has a tendency to focus on things, and I think he's a system quarterback. So I'm giving you my take on the NFL quarterbacks. Of them, I think Drake May is the best. I think Williams will have a good career, but again, it's where you land. And do the Bears have enough to make Caleb Williams a great player? Everybody thought Justin Fields was going to be this great player. The guy ran for his life. So I'm, again, Hard Rocket Sports. Jeff and Tom, we're getting here on a draft night. A.J. Brown just signed 3 years, 96 million with the $84 million large contract. And for just A.J. Brown. Okay. Media sells players. Media sold Williams. Sells many players for soft reasons, just like media sells James. So again, guys, I think this is. I'm going to give you let me give you guys my top 10. I want everybody to know it so that way you can't say it. I will put it up on paper. Again, Frankie, if I was a team, I would take him. But I think he's a really, really big reach in the 1st round. If he was there in the 2nd round, I would snatch him up. 3rd round, I would send the plane for him. In the 1st round, he's a reach. And what you're doing is you're saying, I am desperate for a quarterback, so I'm going to take the guy who's there. Bo Nix could have a good career. I'm not saying he won't. All I'm telling you is I would not be reaching. To me, it's a huge reach at your spot to grab Bo Nix or Michael Penix. Now, if you draft based on being your need, I wouldn't do it. I would wait for later on. You can get away with a guy like Spencer Rattler or one of those guys later in the draft. And I do think in the 2nd round that both Bo Nix and Penix may still be there unless teams like you and the Raiders get desperate. So
are you talking to Frank there? No, Frank Catalano?
Yes. Should I hit him with it?
Listen, just ignore him.
Should I hit him with it?
Yeah, hit him with it. He's totally confused. He needs to be set straight.
All right, Frank, I got a video for Frank, and I'm going to give you my top 10 picks before the draft gets started. Hold on.
It is I, Peppy, here for the draft show, but very, very sad. It seems as though that a lot of things have been going wrong for the Pepster as of late. First, my true identity was exposed on the Hard Rock and Sports Show, letting the world, everyone know that it is I, Frank Catalano. But for the sake of what's going on tonight, I am Peppy. So here are my gripes. One, the Denver Broncos actually trade for Jet cast-off Zach Wilson, a man they could have had for nothing. What do? They trade for him. Like we can afford to give up the picks. Two, we need a quarterback. They make a trade to get some other retread quarterback. We still need a quarterback. I say Denver throws half the draft away at getting a quarterback to move up exactly one spot in the draft. The Denver Broncos, a sad sack team going nowhere quickly, stuck at the station. Mark my words, this is a team that even I, Frank, will run away from. Arriba.
The Pepster / Frank Catalano makes a reappearance for the ages. We're about to go into the NFL draft. So let me give you my picks. I'm going to start off Bears, Caleb Williams. The Skins take Jaden Daniels. Patriots stay where they are and take Drake May. They are desperate for a quarterback. Cardinals make a trade with the Vikings. The Vikings select J.J. McCarthy. So I have my first trade right there. The Chargers stay home, grab Marvin Harrison Jr. There's Frankie Jeffrey. Titans, the Giants take Malik Neighbors, wide receiver at LSU. The Titans take Joe Alt, Notre Dame. I believe the Falcons will go defense. First pick on the defensive side. Defensive tackle Byron Murphy from Texas. The Bears, with their second pick, will take Rome Odunze, offensive wide receiver from Washington, and the Jets to Betch, to my chagrin, but where I think they will go. AJ Brown. Okay, Jay Brown stays with them. Okay, and the Jets take Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia. I will continue to do this. Last year I started out 5 for 5. This year I'm not so confident. We'll see what happens. But Jeff, Pepe makes his return.
I gotta ask. Now I'm listening to you, and you're talking about the Bears.
Yep.
Are the Bears going to be the team to beat in the NFC North?
No.
If they get one of these, if this quarterback gels and they get a good wide receiver, they made a lot of moves over the offseason.
I still think the Lions are the new team. I think the Vikings have dropped. I think the Lions have dropped significantly. I think the Packers are the team that I'm not.
The Lions dropped?
No, I think the Lions are the team, the number one team. I think the Vikings.
Okay. I thought you just said the Lions dropped.
I'm sorry, it's the Vikings have dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Bears, if they hit on the pick, are still a lot of way. I will tell you right now. So right now, if I was the Bears, right, you have, let's see, they need offensive line help. They need wide receiver help. They can use an edge rusher. They can use a defensive lineman. The Bears need a lot of help besides quarterback.
Yeah, but they made a couple different moves. And Frank, I kind of got to agree with you, man. Jordan Love made the playoffs, and for a while there, it looked like they were going to go a little bit further than people thought. But as far as the Bears go, they seem to make a lot of smart moves the last 2 years for that team. I'm not saying that they're just one or two players away. Don't get me wrong. I just think that they're going to be a little bit better than a lot of people give them credit for to be.
I don't disagree. I think they could be the second best team in that division this year. I think the Packers, I don't know if they were a fluke last year. I think the Packers are going to be better. I think one is the Lions, and then 2 and 3 is going to be a battle between how good and how fast the Bears could be. I think the Packers are still number 2. I think the Bears are 3, and I think the Vikings, especially if they don't solve their quarterback problem, the Vikings, if they go into the season with Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and Jaron Allen, will be the number 4 team in that division. That's my opinion.
Listen, I think if they get one in the draft, they're still going to be the 4th team in that division.
Yeah, I would agree. So I don't think they can do enough.
I hear you, Frank.
I don't think the Bears can do enough to move up in that division. I think the Lions are the cream of the crop right now.
I'm not saying that they're going to challenge for the division.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have. You think they're wild card material?
Yes. Yeah. I think the NFC is wide open, and I think there's anybody's a possibility right now. I don't know where the Cowboys are going to be this year. What did the Eagles do this year? Are the 49ers going to continue to where they are? I think the NFC is wide open. I really do. I don't think there's top of my head. I would say going in, it would be the 49ers would be the number one. But to me, it's the Lions. It's probably the 49ers. Maybe the Eagles rebound, but they've already lost their starting center. Their Cox retired. Was it Cox or Graham? I think Graham. One of them retired.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a lot of wide openness. So yeah, Jeff, to your question, I do believe that there is a chance that the Bears could be a wild card team this year. I don't think it'll happen, and obviously it's going to depend on how fast the quarterback gels.
I got to agree with Frank.
Yes, Catalano. Yes, for the Giants. Yeah, and
Hold on, Frank. I'm sorry I made that video making fun of you. I agree with you.
Two assholes. I do think that the I do think that the NFC is wide open. So it's but I think the likelihood for the Bears is another year or two away. But listen. Again, you got hit on the quarterback. They thought they had it in Justin Fields. He's now a Pittsburgh Steeler. So
let me ask you something. Did they have it in Justin Fields?
No.
And did they, was Justin Fields was supposedly getting a little bit better every year? Maybe not a top tier quarterback, but if for somebody that was heading in the right direction, they certainly didn't give him enough time. They got first chance they got to get rid of him. And I understand some of it was financial too. Don't get me wrong. You're resetting the clock again. With a cheaper alternative, without a doubt. But I mean, it's just unbelievable in the NFL. If you go out there, you throw 10 passes, your career could be fucked. I that 10 passes.
I would agree with that. And Frank Jeffrey, I would disagree with you a little bit. I mean, I get it, but when you draft a quarterback, you either have to draft a quarterback into your system that fits your system, or you have to draft a quarterback and then tailor your system to fit him. They didn't do either or. So obviously, Justin Fields never, to me, proved himself to be a good thrower of the football. Now, again, he might have wound up in the wrong place. So I'm not disagreeing. So I think a lot of times, Caleb Williams may be a great pro, but if he winds up in the wrong place, it may never happen. Let's just say let me think of a decent quarterback. Kenny Pickett could have wound up with a different team and had a better career than if he went then because he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It stunted his growth. Or somebody, it's not only about your talents where you wind up, the coach around you, and all that. But if you're a team, you have to decide. I'm bringing this guy in, and I'm going to tailor my offense. What the Ravens have done with Lamar Jackson, Jeff. They have basically said, "All right, Lamar, you're not great at throwing the football. We're going to let you run around. You'll make an occasional throw." And we'll play great defense and run the football. It hasn't transitioned in the playoffs, but regular season, he's won a couple MVPs. The guy's been, a great athlete. I won't say a great quarterback, but
I understand your point, Tom. And yeah, a lot of things you're saying are right. But let's Justin Fields. Nobody has been able to do it at quarterback in Chicago ever. Did you know that? I didn't know this. That there's never been a Chicago quarterback to throw for 30 touchdowns a season?
I would have guessed. If you would have asked me if it was a true or false, I would agree with you because going back, who's been a great quarterback in Chicago?
I understand that, but
Jim McMahon. I mean,
80 years, 30 touchdowns, and then there has yet to ever be a Chicago Bears quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards.
Yeah,
in a season.
Well,
now, that one I would believe a little bit more simply because look how long it took for anybody to beat Joe Namath's record.
Well,
And
also think about where they play.
oh,
Think about what it's like. Think about what it's like there in November and December.
oh, it's got to suck.
Right. So to me, you're running the football. It's difficult to throw the ball. So I can understand not throwing for 4,000 yards. It's still, you're right, 30 years, 40 years. I mean, as long as they're around, it's 30 touchdowns in today's day and age. I would have thought they had something. But think about it. Who's been who's the best Bears quarterback of all time?
Tom, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who for 32 touchdown passes for the New York Jets.
I got you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. I understand what you're saying, but think of that. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 32 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Jets move the ball through the air.
Yep.
They drop it more than they move it through the air. They don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's just the thought that's a lot of years and not even to break 30, 30, 31. That's
I got you. And in today's day and age, the last 10 years of football, where they throw the ball around the field 40 and 50 times a game on regularity, you would think. But again, you're still playing at Soldier Field or whatever that field's name is now. Outdoors in November in Chicago, December in Chicago. Man, I wouldn't want to be that quarterback having to do that. So, but listen, again, they need to hit on this quarterback. I don't have a big feel for him. You guys all the same sense list.
Oh, God.
Here he goes. Here he is. Frankie's back.
Yeah, he's fine. You're fine.
Yeah, that's an odd team for me this year. I think the Dolphins and both the Eagles, I think they're in a real weird year because I think there's real big doubt on both of these guys as legitimate NFL quarterbacks that are capable of winning a Super Bowl. I think after last year, especially for Jalen Hurts, there is some serious doubt if you're a Philadelphia Eagle that Jalen Hurts is the long-term future. That's my opinion.
Well,
I got you, Frankie. And by the way, hey, Robert Finelli, how are you, my brother? So listen, guys, Jeff's about to start. We've talked Jets and Giants. Jeff and I both feel the Jets are going to take Brock Bowers, but we both would like them to see Ted take an offensive tackle. We'll see if that plays out. I think the Giants are going to go wide receiver in this spot. I would be surprised. Again, my top 10 picks, real quick. Again, Caleb Williams goes to the Bears. The Redskins take Jaden Daniels. The Patriots take Drake May. The Cardinals will trade with the Vikings. The Vikings will select J.J. McCarthy, so we'll have a run of 4 quarterbacks. Chargers take Marvin Harrison Jr. The Giants take Malik Neighbors. The Titans take Joe Alt, Notre Dame offensive tackle. The Falcons take Byron Murphy, defensive tackle for Texas. I got the Bears taking Rome Odunze to give Caleb Williams somebody to throw the ball to. And the Jets take Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. Those are my picks. Hopefully I do as well as I did last year. Likelihood is I won't. So I think that's Eminem on stage about to start this NFL draft, which he's wearing sweatpants. I don't get all of that, but okay, Slim Shady.
I haven't worn a pair of dungarees, Tom, in so long.
You're not on the NFL draft show, Jeff.
Yeah, I couldn't give a fuck less if I was at the inauguration for the president, bro.
He is obviously from Detroit. That's where the draft is this year. So
where's the coverage? Where's the coverage, man?
You want to hear it?
Nah, I'm just trying to find it for myself. So
Channel 7.
On the same page as you.
Channel 7.
I'm on the computer. There is no Channel 7 on the computer.
I don't. You could try NFL.com. Might have it for you.
You know, NFL.com kicked me off.
Did they really?
Yeah, because I didn't have an account.
No matter who your quarterback is, the Giants don't have that wide receiver. I could stretch the deep. That could stretch. Well, Frankie, that's my point. So right now, if I'm the Giants, I am taking Malik Neighbors. I am taking as Barry Sanders hits the stage. They're going out with some of the biggest names in Detroit football. And Barry Sanders, obviously, that guy. Hopefully, they drag out Billy Sims. I would love to see Billy Sims come out with a big fro, like this big. Billy Sims was the coolest looking football player of all time. Line play. So you got Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, Calvin Johnson, and Barry Sanders all on stage with Eminem. They're ready to kick off this NFL draft. I don't know what Aiden Hutchinson's wearing. I can't even begin to tell you. In the meantime, Frankie, so yes, that's why the Giants have to take a receiver. If you take a quarterback, you're giving him nobody to throw the football. I love Wan'Dale Robinson. I love Hyatt. They are not number one receivers. They are number twos at best, maybe number threes. The Giants need a number one guy. I want a guy to take the roof off. That's going to be Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, or Marvin Harris. I think any one of those three guys.
Are they on the clock right now?
Nobody's on the clock as far as I know. I don't think they've started the draft. Right now, they're just doing a lot of speeches by the former Detroit players. This is taking way too long. They should have all been done before 8 o'clock, and we should be making our first pick. We are 8-11 and no picks at this point.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, so the big train, Calvin Johnson is great. Nice to see you. I don't care. Let's kick the draft off. We don't need to see all these players. Okay, so here's Goodell. He's being booed. This is the usual. All the Bear fans. I see Lions fans. We see Washington Redskin fans. I'm not saying Commanders. You can kiss my ass. How do you get away with the banner scrolling across calling them the Redskins? I love it. Pinelli, I look at and wear my Redskin hat tonight. I do not call them the Commanders. They are the Redskins. They will always be the Redskins. And I believe that the Chicago Bears are about to be on the clock.
Okay, good.
So we'll get this draft started. And yeah, let's see. Frankie gave me a message. When are they going to stop playing the? Yeah, I don't know, Frank. I don't know when the Black National Anthem. I didn't know there wasn't a Black National Anthem, and I don't know why we need to have a Black National Anthem.
Chicago is on the clock.
Chicago is officially on the clock. To me, if this takes longer than 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to be pissed off. And this is the NFL just trying to drag this out because we all know they're taking Caleb Williams. They're not trading this pick. There isn't enough draft picks in the NFL draft. Yeah, Frankie, they should have did all this shit beforehand. This pick is in, and this is just the NFL saying, all right, don't make the pick yet. Let's drag this out for a few minutes because everybody there is just staring at the screen. The pick is in. They are taking Caleb Williams. There is no doubt they are taking Caleb Williams. And I don't know why we have to stand here and wait for Caleb Williams. In the meantime, I will show you some highlights of Caleb Williams so that you guys get an idea of what the Chicago Bears will be getting. That is Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, who is a fine athlete. He's got a good arm. I do think he has some big weaknesses. He's not. I don't think he's a prototypical NFL quarterback, although he seems to be fitting the cookie cutter mold that they are now. He does run the ball, move around very well. So let's see. But to me right now, the fact that we're almost 2 minutes into the draft and they haven't selected him, to me, is a huge, huge issue because this is all bullshit. So, but anyway, the draft is going. Caleb Williams is sitting there waiting to be called. And we'll see what happens, Jeff. In the meantime, we'll start looking to number 2, Jeff. The Redskins will be up at number 2. And it looks like they will hit. Caleb Williams is playing cards at the table, which is ridiculous. And I tell you, it's just pissing me off at the moment. He's actually playing cards with his girlfriend or his wife, or whoever she is. So I am really getting pissed off about the whole thing.
Oh, he knows where he's going. He knows he's more than likely the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
he's probably been hanging around there all day. If they didn't announce him as the number 1 to start, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean even the people in the room are kind of shrugging their shoulders, like, why aren't they making the pick? The pick is made. Stop with the bullshit. Why do we got to sit here for 3 minutes? Yeah, see now, Frankie, I think the only way that is the case, I think if for any reason the Patriots are specifically targeting Drake May, and then May goes number 2 would be the only way. I think the Patriots have to take a quarterback. They have gone too many years now trying to figure it out with Bailey Zappi and Jared Stidham and Mac Jones to replace Tom Brady. The Patriots are dying to get their hands on Drake May, in my opinion. I would be shocked if they go any other way. But I would be shocked if they traded down. If they do trade down, it shouldn't be any further than the Giants. If the Giants were going to move up to take a quarterback, but to me at this point, the Patriots are desperate for a quarterback, and they are going to take now, unless they don't like Jaden Daniels, and they only like May, and May's gone, then we'll see. But I think, guys, if again we're keeping it to almost 4 minutes now that this is going on, and this is annoying. I have to tell you, Jeff, this will be a big topic next week on the show. You and I.
Yeah, you would almost like, you want to start off the draft, come right out and say who the first round. Introduce yourself and say, the first round, the first pick is already picked.
Yep.
We've all been waiting for God knows how long, all of us. And you're right. I agree with you. I think it's kind of stupid to.
Yeah, it's just
excitement, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not exciting. Like this, this isn't like you want to let's go back to 2018. Are they taking Baker? Are they taking Sam? You're kind of up in. Everybody here knows that Caleb Williams is the number one pick in the draft. If they don't take Caleb Williams here, I would be shocked, beyond shocked. We'd have to end the show right now. So Caleb Williams is in. Why am I down to 5 minutes? There's no way in the world they're talking about making a trade here. This is just the NFL saying, nope, don't make the pick. Nope, don't make the pick. Let's wait. So I'm sorry.
Halfway there.
Yeah, so you're at the 5:27 mark as far as my TV shows, and we're still waiting for the pick.
For me, your TV seems to be running a little behind because I got 4:47.
Okay, so for some reason I'm behind you. Yeah, I'm behind you for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how that works, to be honest with you. Hey, let's try the NFL Network, see if that's the ESPN, if that's any faster. Let's see. I'm still at 5. My where I am, I'm at 5 minutes on
4:23. Still not announced.
Yeah, so you're 30 seconds ahead of me. Yeah, guys, Frank, this. Oh my God, me tell you the truth, Frank. So am I. Like I should really be watching the Knicks at this point. But I would rather see the draft, and that's what we do the show. I don't want to get too deep into the Rangers and Knicks, but a great start to both series for both teams. Rangers look great in the first game, not so great in the second game, which is okay with me because they still came out of there ahead.
The pick is in.
Okay, pick is in. Again, Jeff, you might have to announce it because I seem to be behind your TV. So you make the announcement if you don't mind.
I'm no problem. I wish every year I'm usually behind you. Yeah. You're announcing it. They're still not showing it. They show the pick is in.
I got it now. It just came up on my screen. Yeah, I just got the pick. I just saw it now on my screen. The pick is in. So I'm going to the NFL Network, see if that's any quicker.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Pick is in.
Pick is in. They made a trade.
Come on.
With the New York Giants for Daniel Jones.
Stop.
And they kept their number one pick.
Yeah, it's pick is in. We're waiting on the announcement. No doubt in our minds. But again, why are we 6-7 minutes into this and still waiting for this? I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's 8:18. Yeah,
I mean, I just turned 8:19 on my computer, and we don't have the first pick, guys. I mean, this is where the NFL starts to get me pissed off because you know what? Just make the pick. This is going to go long enough anyway. To me, why do you want to make this run into 11 and 12 o'clock at night where you lose people? To me, get these in, keep people's attention because right now people are running to the NBA, to the NBA. Stop. Hockey games are on right now. Get this in. Keep people's attention. Why would you want to let them run? I don't get it.
You know why, Tom? Because somebody is still Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams was the first pick.
Okay, I mean, it's still not on my screen. So, okay, guys, number one pick of the NFL draft this year, no surprise to anybody, is Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC. On my screen, the commissioner's out there right now about to make the pick.
Tom, I'm going to get a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, so guys, no big surprise here. I'm 1 for 1 if you're keeping score at home. Number 2 on the draft right now. Number best Caleb Williams. Let's put the ticker back up on the screen. All right, so now the Redskins are up. Again, most of us will sit here, guys. Anybody think there's a chance the Redskins can go outside of that, I see. Yeah, Frankie, I see it. I am not a big Caleb Williams guy. I don't know what that kind of suit is. What happened to the days of just going out there in a nice suit and tie, looking sharp and doing the thing, and not. This ain't Hollywood. So Caleb Williams, good, pump up, all that stuff. You're going to be a bust. I'm calling it now. Caleb Williams is a bust, but that's okay. I am a Chicago Bears fan. I wish for Walter Payton's sake, they get a good quarterback. Everybody's got an agenda these days. Yeah, Frank, I got it. But, I don't know. Listen, guys, just give me the next pick. Right now, the Redskins, they already know who they're taking. There is no doubt in my mind that Washington knows who they're picking. It should already say Redskins pick is in, and they're waiting for Caleb Williams to get off the stage, and they're moving on. So, again, 1-for-1, and yes, it is. There is no doubt. There was no doubt in anybody's mind. I do not think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I do not. We'll see how it plays out. It could be an environment thing where he winds up in Chicago and Drake May winds up in a different city and has a better thing, a better environment to play in. We'll see how it feels. I almost feel like they have an unwritten rule. Yeah, I do. I know. Again, if you told me that Washington's fielding offers, I'm all over it. That's fine. If Washington already knows who they want, make the goddamn pick. Make the pick. Again, when you get to the Patriots, I expect that to go down to the wire. The Patriots will be listening to offers all the way through at this point. So I'm with you. The Cardinals, they will be taking offers all the way through. But right now, these first two picks should have went off in 2 minutes each. There's no doubt in my mind. So again, we'll see. The Bears offense now: DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. It's a good offense. We'll see if it gels in year one. Yeah, but I think the NFL told Chicago and Washington, take your full time. No, Frankie, I agree. I've seen it in the past where they tell the teams, for suspense, for a lot of reasons, they have it mapped out. They have certain commercials at certain points. That's just the way it goes. So I think there's no doubt in my mind that this is planned out this way. So no doubt. Yeah, I agree, Frank.
4 minutes, 35 seconds on the Washington pick.
Okay. All right. So we're watching. We're watching this play out.
Now it says here, Tom, just so that you know, I don't know how you guys are watching it, but on the ESPN best available player, Marvin Harrison Jr., best fit for the Washington Redskins, Joe Alt. Man, this guy's huge, 6'9", 321 pounds.
Again, if you were the Redskins and you wanted a guy who's a guaranteed going to be a perennial All-Pro, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison are guarantees. Again, if you're going to fit by need, then you're taking Jaden Daniels. I get it. But again, I don't think there's a guarantee that any one of these quarterbacks is going to be great. So if you want to come out of there with a guy that 10 years from now is your starter, Joe Alt, Jeff, to me is a guarantee. To me, Marvin Harrison should be a guarantee. It depends on who's throwing the football, of course. Is Jaden Daniels a guarantee? He's not. So
listen, of course, you could take Marvin Harrison. That you could very well do that. But if there's nobody throwing him the ball, what's the point?
Correct. So yeah, Frankie, I agree. Let's see. Washington still has. Why does Washington have 3 minutes left on the clock? Are they fielding offers? It can't be possible.
3 minutes, 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm 16 seconds behind you. Dan Quinn is the new head coach of the Washington Redskins. As they start the new era, there's a team that's been searching for a quarterback for a very long time. I thought maybe Sam Howell could work out for them. That hasn't worked out. They drafted nothing but defensive linemen for a few years. That did not work out. They've already gotten rid of a couple of those guys. So they've got some talent. Terry McLaurin. They have some players there, but this team needs a full-time quarterback. They're going to take one. That's for sure. I don't think it's necessarily the greatest pick in the world. This Tom. Oh, yeah, I got you. We'll see what right now. So Okay, Chris, the pick is in. From somebody saying the pick is in. All right, my screen does not show that yet.
Pick is in.
All right, so again, I'm following Jeff along with Jeff here and you guys because for me, I seem to be about 16 seconds behind on my system. Again, Redskins simple. They need a quarterback. They need an offensive lineup. They need defensive help. They can go a myriad of ways. They're going quarterback. After this, it starts to get in. Let's see. Pick is in on my screen.
Pick is in. It's a trade. The Redskins have made a trade with the New York Giants for Daniel Jones.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, let me know when there's official pick, guys, because I don't have it. What a jerk off. What a jerk off. What a jerk off. Let's see. I'm sharing the screen. We're waiting on the pick from the Washington Redskins. I have it ready to go. The highlights. So let's see what happens. Again, we're still. I don't know why we're waiting on this pick, Jeff. You know, it's taking 10 minutes or a shot. We are 8:26, and we only got one pick in so far. One pick so far, and the second pick is only in, not announced yet. So let's see what happens.
Pick is still in. Nothing here announced yet.
Okay. Waiting for the commission to come out. Looks like they're getting ready for the commission to come out. I'm sure he must be out on your screen at this point. Here he comes.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
LSU.
Okay, so there he is. Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick of Jeff out of LSU at quarterback. We'll show you a little bit of highlights on Jaden Daniels. Again, not a stretch to think that this was going to happen. So far, guys, just for the record, 2 for 2. Now we get interesting here. Now, I do expect this pick, Jeff, to be the Patriots, and to take a while. They are probably fielding calls from Frankie's Broncos, from I am so behind Jaden Daniels. I see it. Thank you, guys. If you got it, as soon as you guys see it, please let us know. I seem to be behind. I don't know why. Jeff may be a little behind you guys as well. I'm not really sure. But
I'm behind, all right. And the Patriots are on the clock. 9 minutes, 9 seconds left. And best fit is Joe Alt. Best available, Marvin Harrison.
That is, again, yep. But I expect the Patriots to take.
Chris Lang helping us out with the draft. How nice.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you,
Frankie.
Frankie. Thank you guys both. Love having both of you hanging out with us. Listen, Jaden Daniels, this is not a shock. Again, another guy in the Lamar Jackson camp. Not the greatest thrower of the football I've ever seen.
He looks kind of small. You know what he reminds me of? And looks wise, RG3.
Yep, that's great. That's a good one, Jeff. I would agree. 6'4", 210. Very
way. He's 6'4"?
6'4", 210. Yep.
God, if you said 5'4", I would believe you.
He's a tall, thin guy. Again, will he be successful? I guess we'll find out. I think that's a pick out of need more than it is out of taking the best player or the best fit or the play that you need most. But right now, again, on the clock is the New England Patriots, their first draft, Jeff, in a very long time without head coach Bill Belichick. So we're going to see if the Patriots are doing things differently now. So I don't think so, or maybe I do think so, because I think Belichick stubbornly neglected the quarterback position after so many years of Tom Brady. Thought he can almost find lightning, strike lightning twice, by trying to grab a guy later in the draft or lower in the draft to replace him, and it hasn't worked out. So I think I do expect them to take a top of the draft quarterback, and I think that will be
5 minutes, 15 seconds left.
Okay, let's see where it plays out. Drake May should be on the board for that pick. Jaden Daniels, we can get rid of. That should be the pick. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, no surprises so far. Again, New England's up, warming up on deck are the Cardinals, the Chargers, and the New York Giants. We're getting into this again, the 2024 NFL Draft here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. I'm Tom, that's Jeff, and all of our buddies are hanging with us tonight as we do the show each and every year. This is our 8th official year doing it. The 9th year, we just kind of happened to be on, and we just were goofing around about it, and then we decided to make it into an event. And Jeff, to me, tonight kicks off the NFL season. This is it.
Sure. It is to start it. You know what I mean? It's just not necessarily the pick is in for the Patriots.
Okay, so they're again taking it deep into the time. Patriots pick is in at number 3. I would say obviously they did not make a trade, so the Patriots will be picking. And unless I am shocked by the pick, it will be Drake May, quarterback for North Carolina.
Look at that. You'll never believe this.
Oh, God. Here we go. Another Giants trade.
They made a trade with the Giants. They took Daniel Jones.
Wow. Look at you. You just got it all covered. Let's see. Well, I got it all queued up. We'll see what happens here. And now it starts to get interesting here because it's starting to make the run. Does Arizona hold the pick? If they do, I would imagine it'll be Marvin Harrison, the best available. I would not be shocked if it was Joe Alt.
What would prevent Arizona from taking Joe Alt at this point in time?
There's nothing at this point. No, nothing. I think they're going to try to give what's his name a little bit of a weapon. So let me see. Let me just get my board up for the NFC West. Give you a little breakdown of what the Cardinals offseason. Let's see. Okay, Marquise Brown. They can use a wide receiver, a corner, an offensive lineman, and a defensive lineman. So it would not shock me if it was Joe Alt. I would tell you that it's probably going to be Marvin Harrison if they keep the pick. I still believe there's a chance there's a trade right here after the Patriots pick.
You know what, Tom? I don't think so because I think that they're in a position where they want what's his face to work out over there in Arizona.
Kyler Murray. They kind of need to. So if this is going to help them out, they need to make that choice. They need to make that pick in Marvin Harrison. I don't disagree with you on that one, Jeff. I do think it'll be Harrison. Caleb Williams is off the board. So is Jaden Daniels. Okay, I update my board here.
Wow, Drake May. There you go.
There you go. 3 for 3, Tom. You hit it on the head. No special thing.
You're saying that you wanted to investigate.
Yeah.
My winning the other night, but I got to say, were you picking the top 3 picks that everybody has been saying for the last 2 years, and you're trying to take credit for this, man? I think it's disgusting, Tom.
I'm just telling you, as a guy who follows the draft, I just pay attention, Jeff. Drake May, again, to me, a guy who is probably most likely to be the most pro-ready. I think he has some holes in his game, as they all do. He doesn't run the football as well. He does move okay, but he's a good thrower of the ball. Has a tendency to lock onto receivers. So I think it's questionable, but I tell you right now, watch for a trade here. I think it's a possibility of the Vikings or the Broncos or possibly the Raiders moving up at this point. Who wants it more? This should go down to the wire. I think you will see the Cardinals wait till the last second and see what the offers are.
Cardinals already have 5 minutes, 54 seconds.
Yeah, this will. I would be shocked if this did not take it down to the wire. And I don't know. You're saying that Drake May is Jordan Love. I don't see that. Again, they say it. I don't see that. But this kid is a guy that if I were the Giants and I was going to take a quarterback in the draft, this would have been the guy I would have went after. So, but obviously that's not going to happen. And I don't want the Giants to draft a quarterback. So we'll see. Now we're waiting on Arizona, who's under 5 minutes, right here on the NFL Draft. Jeff Tomwitzki, Tom Florio, and all of you hanging in here tonight. We'll see how long we go. We're going to try to at least make it to the Jets at number 10. So we'll see what happens. And so far, 3 for 3. Let's see if the Cardinals come through. May sucks. Love it. Hey, hold on. Sorry, my board fell. Sorry, that was my draft board falling on the ground.
5
Tom,
minutes left.
yeah, Tom, I would disagree. I don't think Drake May sucks. Again, I don't think any of these guys are worthy of these picks. Honestly, if you were smart picking at this point in this draft, you'd be grabbing Joe Alt, you'd be grabbing Marvin Harrison, you might even be grabbing a couple of the other offensive linemen. Those are better players, but again, everybody needs a quarterback, and these guys have had good careers. And people are desperate for quarterbacks, and that's where they're going. And we'll see. I would say, Jeff, out of all of these, you got 5, let's say 6 guys that people say are top flight quarterbacks. I'll be surprised if 2 of them are on their same team 4 years from now.
Oh, I agree. The numbers are already against them.
Yeah.
4 minutes left in the Cardinals pick.
Let's see. I just have this sneaking feeling that there's going to be a trade right here. Which team? I'm going to say it's the Vikings. That's the way I had it picked. If I get this one right, boy, oh boy, I am in the wrong business. But if not, I expect the Cardinals to take Marvin Harrison. And then it gets interesting with the Chargers. Do the Chargers at that point trade down and let one of these teams jump up there and grab their quarterback? That's the questions of the day. But this is taking a long time, so watch what happens here.
The pick is in. No trade.
So there is no trade.
Look at that. Tom Florio comes back down to earth.
I am now, Jeff. I am definitely come down to earth. I believe it will be Marvin Harrison in this spot. So I am wrong here, and I'm going to be wrong at the Chargers.
Frank, man, unbelievable. Zach Wilson, best pick.
As soon as you guys get the call, let me know. This is the second time quarterbacks drafted 1, 2, 3, 1971. Jim Plunkett to the Patriots, Archie Manning to the Saints, and Dan Pastorini, a very underrated quarterback. 3 underrated quarterbacks. Again, it also happened in 67 it says 60. Oh, common since that. Sorry, 99. Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, and Achilles Smith. Boy, that's a terrible draft class. And then, of course, 2021 with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and now Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. Not the greatest list to be on, Jeff, to be honest with you.
No.
Yeah,
Still waiting on this pick. It must be a commercial over there.
Yeah, it's I still got TV up. I still got them on the screen. No, still might be a trade. Let's see. It says the pick is in, so I have a hard time thinking they're going to make a trade. It usually would come up and say a trade
has been made.
Yeah. So
don't listen to him. He's happy he has Zach Wilson. You gonna listen to him? You really? Come on.
Yeah. So I think we're looking at Marvin Harrison coming off the board. At this point, we'll see. They also traded for Desmond Ridder from the Falcons in the offseason, the Cardinals. So they do have a quarterback on their roster beside Kyler Murray. Here comes the commissioner. There is no trade.
Marvin Harrison.
Okay, so there it is. Marvin Harrison Jr., what I would say is the best player in the draft, certainly the best receiver in the draft. Not that he's that much ahead of the other guys, but it's a solid pick. And to Jeff's point, they're trying to give Kyler Murray something to work with for the future. So good call by you, Jeff. That's fine. So I will miss the next 2 because I had the Chargers taking Marvin Harrison. Now the question is, what do the Chargers do here, guys?
Well, they got, I'll tell you right now, best available, neighbors, best fit, Alt.
Again, Joe Alt is anybody's best fit. If you need a tackle for the future, he may be your guy. I could see him coming off the board here. Let's see what my book says for the AFC West. Let's see. For the Chargers, cornerback, wide receiver, tight end, and defensive line. I would think in this spot, if I were them, I don't see them going to corner at this early part of the draft. You could probably see Malik Neighbors come off the board here. Boy, oh boy, yeah. I would be surprised if it's not Malik Neighbors. Yeah.
I would think that this is going to negate a trade. Maybe the Giants make a trade, but I don't see any of these other teams looking to make a trade right now.
You're right. I think this is the last spot for a trade. I'd be surprised if the Giants trade because now with Harrison off the board, there's a good chance somebody pops up to grab one of the other wide receivers or that. So the Chargers here, it's an interesting pick. Boy, oh boy, Giants are not taking J.J. McCarthy. That is not happening. I think you'll see the Giants now. If they take Malik Neighbors, there's a good chance the Giants try to trade down because then at that point they may take an offensive tackle. They could go for a Roma Dunze later on. They could go a couple different ways. So if I'm watching this right now, if Malik Neighbors comes off the board here, pay attention that the Giants don't drop down. So let's see how it plays out. We're still Frankie, they're not taking them. Yes, they do need a wide receiver bad. Jeff, do you have a time on the Chargers pick at this point?
5 minutes, 44 seconds.
All right, so let's say they're in the area of 5 minutes left. Should be pretty interesting here.
5 minutes, 35 seconds.
Yeah, so again, they could be fielding offers here. What's your sense, Jeff? They're staying right where they're at. They're going to make the pick right here for themselves.
Well, the Chargers, yeah, I think they're going to make the pick. Listen, I don't think that they're a team that they need help, and I think they would be better off staying put and making a pick here, a top 5 pick. You got a pretty decent quarterback. They're probably going to go a wide receiver. They're not going to go quarterback. They're probably not going to go offensive line. So I think that they're going to take one of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
One of the receivers. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. I think they're going to give some more help to I did that in the wrong spot. They're going to give some more help to Justin Herbert. I mean, we struggled with Justin Herbert last year as our fantasy quarterback. So I think there's a good chance that Jeff's right.
Last year, our fantasy quarterback was Mahomes, and we're down to 4 and 25 seconds.
What am I looking for here? I'm looking for Jade. I'm just updating the ticker. Jaden Daniels. Okay. Pats went Drake May. Okay. I'm just updating the board here. Arizona took Marvin M. Harrison. I'm going to go M. Harrison. And the Chargers
3 minutes, 54 seconds.
The Chargers are on the board. Let's see. So you got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Marvin Harrison are all off the board. Chargers are up. Giants warming up in the bullpen. Tennessee, Atlanta, Chicago, and the Jets round up the first round. Guys, we are approaching 8:45. Again, we're going to take this right to the Jets pick.
3:30.
So interesting. We'll see where it plays. They lost 2 yards. Yeah, I agree with you, Frankie. That is. I think they wanted Harrison. They wanted somebody to trade up in front of them to take McCarthy and give them Harrison. But I think they're at this point at least listening. But I think ultimately they keep the pick and they take Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze. But they will come out of there with a receiver for Justin Herbert to replace Mike Williams.
They lose like 2 or 3 receivers this year.
They lost 2 in the offseason. So, yeah, I think Frankie's got it right. I think you'll see I think you're going to see that. They take I think that there be spot.
2 minutes, 43 seconds left.
Okay. We're still waiting on let's see. Frank Jeffrey's actually saying the Cowboys take Shedeur Sanders next year. He sucks. Deion's kid as a quarterback is horrendous. I don't care. Everybody tells me. Frankie says the pick is in. Let's see. I'm in commercial right now.
2 minutes, 20 seconds. It says here.
Yeah. I got 2:30. That's Brock Purdy. He's actually doing commercials now. Could you imagine? Oh boy, that guy is unbelievable. Yep. Pick. We're waiting on the pick for the Los Angeles Chargers. We were thinking wide receiver here, so let's see how it plays out. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Again, still only halfway through the first 10 picks with this pick right now. So we will, as long as Jeff's got a little more energy, we'll stick around to the Jets.
Good. 1:43 it says on the clock. Nothing about the pick being in yet.
Yeah, I don't have it either. Frankie said the pick's in. I don't see that. It just says the pick when they come back. I would imagine they'll be back with about a minute left, and we'll get the pick at that point.
Pick is in.
Okay, so the pick is in.
Pick is in.
Again, no trade so far. I'm a little surprised, Jeff, that there haven't been any trades so far.
Boy, right now everything is going pretty much according to plan. You know, and you knew that the first three teams were going quarterback. Marvin Harrison has been going to Atlanta, Arizona. So now let's see if the Chargers throw a curveball here.
That would be a curveball. Now they could go with the offensive lineman here. I don't think they need it. Again, I think everybody's right. I think it's receiver. I think they were sitting around waiting to see if they got a better offer. They probably didn't get what they wanted. If you're the Giants, you're in an interesting spot. Do you love Rome Odunze enough to draft him?
Let's see who the what do you call it took.
Okay, so it is official on my screen as the pick is in. So let's see. We're waiting on right now to see what the
pick is in. A trade was made with the New York Giants.
Oh,
and the Los Angeles Chargers have now traded for Daniel Jones, quarterback, New York Giants.
According to Frankie's point, it looks like a trade. So I don't know if that's actual or not. I don't see that anywhere on my screen yet. It just says the Chargers pick is in. So I'm going to go on to the fact that it's a pick. No, that's a traded Keenan Allen. So right now, the pick we're waiting on number 5 from the Chargers.
I don't think a trade would take this long.
No, I would agree. I would think they would have this worked out already. So
especially in the first round, I think.
Usually when they say the pick is in, it usually means they've made that team's holding the pick. They would usually trade. They would say a trade. So right now, top players on the board, according to some experts, is Odunze, Neighbors, Brock Bowers, Joe Alt. I have Joe Alt higher on my board. There's 2 other tackles on that list. Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama. There are some players out there. Let's see where it goes. But right now, we're waiting on the Chargers pick at number 5 as we sit here at 8:47.
That's a long time. Come on.
8:47, and we're still sitting on pick number 5. I mean, this is ridiculous.
You got to think of it this way, right? The next team up is the New York Giants. They've had 20 minutes to decide. Joe Alt.
Wow.
Joe Alt.
A bit of a shock for me. It's a great pick for them, but it is a bit of a surprise that they did not go. So now I will tell you, the Giants will be taking Malik Neighbors. I am very surprised that they went offensive tackle, but again, to me, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the draft, and a really good pick by.
Already the Giants have been on the clock for almost 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. On the ESPN drafting, and it says best available Neighbors, second in his position, 3rd overall in the draft, and best fit JJ McCarthy.
Okay, so again, the Giants will not be drafting a quarterback here. Joe Alt, again, pro ready, can start this year, and will be a franchise tackle, short of injury. It's a solid pick by the Chargers, and it shows you, I'm not a huge Jim Harbaugh fan, but Jim Harbaugh is breaking it down and saying, okay, here we go. This is the guy we want to anchor. We want to give our quarterback some love, and we're going to get him. And Frankie, you're right. This is a very deep draft for wide receivers, but there are only 3 special guys that I can see. The other guys are all really good players. But there are 3 guys who I think are special. But they picked one of the few guys who is never going to be a bust in this draft, in my opinion. So let's see how it works out. Good job by Jim Harbaugh in his first draft as the Chargers head coach and that team. This is a solid pick. The Giants are on the draft now. This could take a while. They could be fielding offers, thinking, hey, we can drop back and get one of the other offensive tackles. We can get some help on the defense. We can try to grab another a receiver. But I do think the Giants hold, and the Giants take Malik Neighbors. I think that's the guy they've wanted the entire time. So let's see.
5 minutes, 12 seconds left. A trade has been announced.
Here we go. Who the Giants trade with now? Themselves?
They are trading with themselves
Uh-huh.
and are trading Daniel Jones and a second rounder
for
Daniel Jones and a sixth rounder.
Wow, it's probably a first. I think you
What's
can
that?
officially. I think we've got a NFL first, a team trading with themselves.
Yeah, it
for the
looks that
same
way.
player. Yeah.
They said this is the first time that this is ever the draft value for Jones. Wow, it bottomed out. They said he wasn't even worth the sixth rounder.
It looks like the pick is in.
Pick is
Everybody's
in.
kind of- the
Oh
pick is-
shit! Here we go. I'll
Yep.
laugh if it's a trade.
Oh, it's definitely not a trade. Big Blue. Let's see. Giants have had a good offseason. They've theory helped out their offensive line with John Runyon, the kid from North Carolina, from Carolina. Brian Burns, the trade was a great move by the Giants. They signed him to a 5-year, $140 million contract. The Giants have a great, potentially a great defensive line. The pick is in. The Giants have made the move. It is going to be Malik Neighbors. And all those people in the offseason who said they were going to trade for J.J. McCarthy, I would tell you if they trade for J.J., if they draft J.J. McCarthy here, I would be stone cold shocked. So, I'm thinking if they pick that quick, it's Malik Neighbors going off the board, and the Tennessee Titans are up next. I think they're still thinking about offensive line. I thought they were going to get Alt. They'll probably take one of the next two. Look for Atlanta to take a defensive player and Chicago to go probably with a receiver at that spot to give Caleb Williams a guy. If Adunze's on the board, I would be shocked if they didn't take it. And I think the Jets are still looking at either a tackle or to take Brock Bowers. And I think Jeff and I will stay with that.
I certainly hope Brock Bowers gets picked and fucks up their plans.
All right, so Frankie says the commissioner's walking out. We're probably a few seconds behind that. So Frankie looks like he's going to be announcing who the Giants pick is. Jeff and I are hanging in there and waiting on that. If one of us, the first one to get it, we'll put it up. We'll put it out there for you guys. I hope you're enjoying our coverage of the NFL draft. It's Malik Neighbors. As I thought, the Giants take Neighbors. So I've gotten 4 out of 6 right so far. Not too shabby. Giant selections coming up on my screen. Are you, Jeff? Okay, so after all the trades you've announced and all that, is that a solid pick by the New York Giants?
Well, listen, it's probably better than the pick that I said.
I think you're right, yes. New York Giants have selected Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. He seems to be smiling. He had nothing but great things to say about Brian Dable and Joe Shane and his meetings. And again, there was no doubt in my mind that New York Giants needed a top over-the-top wide receiver, and they're getting it. I think they're getting a little bigger and a better version of Odell Beckham. Hopefully, he's a better guy. Now,
it can't be a bad pick because anything is going to help Daniel Jones. All right. Now, all this shows is that they're definitely into Daniel Jones.
Absolutely, yes.
And what is this question? Do you guys think Denver jumps ahead of Minnesota?
I think they want to. I think the problem is they don't have the draft capital that Minnesota has. So the question is, but here's the thing, Frankie, who you want to jump over for? Are you jumping on? Because to me, if you take McCarthy, Nix, or Penix, it's all the same thing. So to me, if you like any one of those guys, you will definitely get one of them where you at. So why jump to get it? Unless you're specifically telling me there's one of those guys that you want, or you want a Dunze, or one of those kind of guys. I think anybody who jumps is trying to get the quarterback in. I don't think anybody's buying into the other 3 quarterbacks. I think you're seeing it now. They'll take them if they get there.
Who do you have on the clock?
Tennessee Titans are on the clock right now.
They have a quarterback, right?
Yeah, they drafted the kid Will Levis last year.
Okay, so why would Denver? I don't think Minnesota's going to let Denver jump ahead of them unless they go to the Jets to make a trade, because I don't see Tennessee looking for a quarterback. I don't see the Falcons looking for a quarterback. You sure as hell know that Chicago's not going to look for a quarterback. The Jets can't look for a quarterback. And depending on who the Broncos want, they have to think that, Minnesota is going to maybe go after a quarterback and then them. So why would they even do that? I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think the question becomes, do you really like those three guys enough to move up, or will you take, again, all those teams can use an offensive tackle, and you got two good ones still sitting around out there. You got all the defensive players are still sitting out there. So right now, if I'm Denver, my only decisions and Denver and Minnesota and the Raiders is, do I love? He's already got. Look at this. He got the Giants.
4 minutes 48 seconds.
4 minutes and 48 seconds. Tennessee. I'm expecting them to take offensive tackle here, or I don't think it's wide receiver. I think it's offensive tackle.
Listen, it says best fit.
Yeah.
Odunze.
Yeah.
And best available, D. Turner. Who was he?
Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama.
Okay, so that's the best available player. Best fit is the Odunze from Washington. So I have to see 4 minutes, 12 seconds left on the clock for Tennessee.
Yeah, now there is a good chance. There is a chance that the Bears could trade down, Jeff. They've got their guy already. They don't have a lot of picks. They could trade down to grab a guy. And I'm watching the highlights of Malik Neighbors, and
they could, without a doubt. But the bottom line is right now with the position they're at, they're not going after a quarterback.
No. Again, yeah, I think the big thing for those three guys is you'll more than likely have the availability of all three of those quarterbacks in that spot. Do you like those three? Because to me, they're all the same. To me,
pick is in.
Okay,
Tennessee pick is in.
Okay, and Frankie, I would trade down, but if you're going to trade down and get Bo Nix, you're going to take him in the second round. I just can't see spending a first round pick on Bo Nix or Michael Penix or JJ McCarthy. I think they're all 2s and 3s, but we'll see.
Dude, if that's their man, that's their man. That's their man.
I'm with you, and I've learned that lesson. So I think basically what we learned so far tonight in this draft is that Jim Harbaugh is kind of gone old school. He's going to build this thing the right way. He's not just going to stick toys around Justin Herbert, and the Giants are fully invested in Daniel Jones. The Giants are sticking with that. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't grab a flyer on a quarterback later in the draft. There's no doubt. But if you spend the number one pick on the draft, Jeff, your number one pick on a quarterback, he's going to be your guy within a couple years.
Oh, listen, I hear you. I think you have no choice but that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at this point in time, with the teams that are picking, if they stay in the order that they're staying, I don't see anybody else going after a quarterback until Washington or Denver at that point in time.
Yeah, I think right now, I think between now and the Vikings and the Broncos, there isn't a team that should now. Could the Falcons take a quarterback? They could. They got Cousins. He's not going to be here forever. I don't see it.
Cousins is young enough to stay there for 3 to 5 years as a starter.
Correct.
I don't see the point of the urgency to take a quarterback at that point.
I'm with you. I think at this point, you're 100% right. The next three needy quarterback teams are the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Raiders. Those three teams.
Well, I got to disagree with you a little bit there, Tom.
Wow.
The Denver Broncos went out and got themselves Zachary Wilson. Why would you want another quarterback once you got Zachary?
Frankie, I don't disagree with Big Bill. I've said it from the beginning. I don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft to be solid pros. The year that Mayfield and Darnold and all those guys came out, the one guy I loved in that draft was Josh Allen. And one thing I've learned from a lot of NFL experts, listening to what they say, and they all say the same thing on an NFL quarterback. It's the lower half, thick thighs, big ass, stand strong in the pocket and be able to deliver the ball quickly. And that's what I loved about Josh Allen. And in this draft, I don't have that guy. I don't have that guy that I say, I look at him throw the football and go, that guy stands in the pocket and throws the ball like it needs to be thrown. I think there's some guys who have opportunities. I like May. I think Williams has got some ability. Jane Daniels is okay. After that, it's a crapshoot. And out of the second half, if I was going to pick, it would be Bo Nix. I would stay away from Michael Penix. He's had, I think, 3 or 4 major knee surgeries already in 6 years in college. So
yeah, that one guy, he got hurt reminds me of an old friend of ours.
Oh boy, here we go.
You know who I'm talking about.
No, I have no idea who you're talking about. Oh, that old friend. Okay, gotcha.
yeah, there you go.
Again, Hard Rocket Sports. That's Jeff and Tom. Yeah, so it's an interesting. And again, next week, guys, we'll break down this draft. We'll talk a lot more about what the Jets do and the Giants do, and all the teams. We'll probably, I think, Jeff, next week we should do our draft grades. We should get all the draft teams and kind of go give them grades on who did best and who did least, and kind of put that to bed for next week. And again, guys, we're right around the corner from OTAs and mini camps and then training camps. And the next thing you know, we'll be talking NFL. So Hard Rocket Sports, we're celebrating 10 years together doing this show of ours. And we're planning, so hopefully we're planning a big event in July to celebrate it. If not, we'll at least be celebrating it right here on the air. Frankie says the pick is being walked up. Again, I would not be surprised here with anything. I am going to say it's going to be a offensive lineman here. One of the top 2, either the kid from Penn State. I'm saying,
J.C. Latham, offensive tackle.
Okay, so again, not the right guy, but the right position. I do think that they needed an offensive. They wanted Joe Alt. I think that was clear and evident. They needed that franchise guy. Latham is a solid player. I don't think, to me,
Tom, keep going. I gotta go take a leak.
Again, I think the kid from Penn State and the kid from Washington might have been better players than J.C. Latham. And to be honest with you, the last few tackles coming out of Alabama have not. Evan Neal wasn't great. It took Andrew Thomas a couple years, but a good fill of a good need with a really good player. So a good job. Let's see, J.C. Latham, Alabama. He is 24th on my draft board. So again, I thought it was I think that's a bit of a stretch. But hey, if you like a play, you like him. Sean Payton lost out on Patrick Mahomes, and he won't let someone take the guy he really likes. Okay. So next up right now is the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are the first team in this draft. We are 7 picks in, not one defensive player. I think that changes right here. I think the Falcons are going to go for the best edge rusher. Could be Dallas Turner. Could be 2 Alabama guys in a row. Could be a corner. I think at this point it's an edge rusher. So let's see where it stays. But right now we're looking at J.C. Latham, tackle from Alabama, who just became the number 1 pick of the Tennessee Titans. That will definitely help their young quarterback. And let's see where it plays out. And Frankie's starting to get a little interesting. Let's see now. Is your team going to take Bo Nix at 12? If he falls there, and there's a really good chance you're going to see him right now getting to that point. I think Minnesota, does Minnesota take a quarterback? I think Minnesota's starting to feel that they're going to get their quarterback at their spot. The question is going to be, do the Broncos think that the quarterback they like is the quarterback that the Minnesota Vikings like? Do they take? Is everybody going to fight over McCarthy? Let's see. I think it's good. Yeah, I think right now this is the Falcons will be an edge pick. I would be shocked if it wasn't. And then we're up for Chicago on their second pick. Watch for that to be traded. I think they'll hold the pick, take a receiver. There's the best spot for Odunze. I think if they came out of this draft, Jeff, the Chicago Bears with a number 1 quarterback and a number 1 wide receiver, I think they'd be pretty happy going into the offseason. They've got,
I would say,
yeah, they picked up some talent. I think it's Keenan Allen went there. They got DeAndre Swift, who's coming off a good year. Cole Kmet. That would be potentially a really good offense. They could also go offensive line and shore up that pick. So Frankie said the Falcons pick is in. Yeah, Frankie, I think
the pick is in.
I do believe you, Frankie. I'm with you. I've had the Bears taking Rome Odunze. the whole time. Let's see if I'm right. And then, Jeff, that would put your New York Jets on the board. We're going to get to the Jets, so we'll hang in there. If you want to you want to hang for another pick or two, maybe we'll hang a pick or two after that. We'll see how you feel.
I am off tomorrow. It is totally up to you. The only thing I have to do when you go, when we're done, is just pass out where I'm sitting.
All right, so I think maybe we'll try to hang in there to get to Frankie's Denver Broncos. Let's see how that goes. But so at this point, should be in the next half hour. So I think I can hang another. We're gonna hang with you, Frankie, to the Denver pick. So yes, we're gonna stick around and watch that with you. So let's see right now. Again, not a lot of surprises so far.
No, this draft is actually pretty bland.
Yeah, much blander than I expected it to be. I agree with you. I thought we'd see a few trades here, but that did not happen. So we'll just stick with what we see so far. I'm just going to update the board. Giants took Malik Neighbors. Okay. 7, Tennessee took J.C. Latham. Falcons are on the board at the moment, and the pick is in. I fully expect it. But yeah, Jeff, you're right. It has been a bit boring. There's been no trades. There's been no odd picks, right? I would say there's been no pick where you go, what the frig were they thinking about? Now, that does set up to say, the Jets going to be the outlier. Are the Jets going to be the guy to go, we just drafted number 10. The Jets take the punter out of Alcorn State.
Listen, anything is possible. All we know right now is we're concentrating on the Falcons pick.
Frankie, I would be shocked if they took Michael Penix here after signing Cousins in the offseason. Yeah, I would be shocked as hell. They did shock everybody by not taking Bill Belichick and bringing on what's his name? Raheem Morris, who's not been successful. Here comes the commissioner. Frankie, what's the pick? Frankie's wowing it up. Frankie, who's the pick? Is it Penix? If that is the pick, Jeff, there would be the first shock.
Michael Penix.
I am completely shocked by this pick. I said on my board, I have it written that the Falcons are one of the few teams I think could sneak into the draft to take a quarterback because they're building for the future. I think that is a reach and a half. Michael Penix is not a top 10 quarterback. Michael Penix has a ton of issues with injuries. He has a very odd throwing style. This is a reach if I've ever seen it.
Do you have any footage of him, man?
I can give it to you. Sure. You want some film?
His throwing is that fucked up?
Yeah.
Like worse than Tebow?
It's in that. To me, it's in that realm.
Okay.
Hold on. I will show it to you, Jeff. Let's see right now. Michael Penix. Let's take off the bio. Give it a second. Present. Share screen. Skip.
No, Frankie, get out of here. They're not fucking trading with you guys.
Okay, Jeff, here he comes. You watching?
He's doing that good. Look at that. That's cute.
Yep, that is cute. In fact, that's your highlight. That's the first highlight you see of him. So here's him throwing the football, Jeff. Watch it. Left-handed thrower. Okay. Yeah, now, again, not a bad player. I just think it's a complete stretch at this point to be taking him with the 8th pick in the NFL draft when you just signed a quarterback. Again,
what's the matter with his throwing, Tom?
You watch. Okay.
Well, does he throw out towards the side?
He throws from here. Watch where the ball is released from. On most of his throws, it's from here. It's not here. It's from here. Again, he doesn't throw a terrible football. It's not a great style. It's going to get knocked down a lot. This guy is a solid athlete, but a lot of injuries. For me, This is a stretch and a half. This is a guy that most draft experts have as a second or third round pick, and they took him at number 8. So this is the first one that I went, okay, yeah, Frankie. Wow, the pick is already in for Chicago Bears. Rome Odunze. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Wow.
So that's a quick one. If the pick is in already for the Bears at number 9, that puts that to Jeff.
Please let it be the fucking Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I would say, Jeff. So here's the dilemma for your squad, Jeff. Is you're going to be on the board. The likelihood is Rome Odunze gets picked right here. That puts you with some of the best offensive players in the offensive linemen in the draft. To me, the two best ones, a kid out of Penn State, is just a shade below Joe Alt, and of course Brock Bowers. And again, we're still sitting here, Jeff. At this point, not one defensive player has been picked in this draft.
No, they said a defensive player might not be picked well into more like into the teens and shit.
Yeah, it's a weird spot here. So again, here comes the Jets. Let's get before we get to the Jets. I just think this is a real stretch. But you got 4 quarterbacks already in this thing. Can we see all 6 go in this first round? It's going to be interesting. What do the Vikings do? Are the Vikings going to now? The Vikings, to me, you have your choice of either McCarthy or Nix. Same thing, Frankie. If Bo Nix is off of the board, are you happy to taking McCarthy? Now, which way do you go? All right, so are you saying an edge? Are you saying an edge guy? Okay, that's also possible. I am shocked. The pick is in. Why isn't the commissioner walking out there?
Because there's a bunch of idiots like us sitting here holding our breaths, waiting for this to fucking.
It's the truth. Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Yep.
Rome Odunze. They took the wide receiver.
Okay, I hit that one too by accident, but I did get it.
So that means right now,
yep.
Chicago is probably having the best draft already.
Well, I mean, you get 2 top 10 picks, and you come out of there with a top 3 wide receiver, and what people consider was the best quarterback in the draft. I don't necessarily agree with it. Yeah, I would say right now you'd have to give that. Now again, I want to grade the entire one, but they have given themselves the opportunity to be a fairly better team next year, Jeff. No doubt.
Wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, okay, never mind.
What's the matter? What'd you say?
The Jets and Vikings made a trade.
Come on.
Swear to God, Minnesota is on the clock. The Jets are picking at 11.
Okay, so the Jets. So the I would say right now the Vikings moved up, which means they were afraid of Denver or somebody. Yep, and
which means they're taking a quarterback.
Yep. So I'd say Minnesota. My pick here is going to be JJ McCarthy for the Vikings. I don't know what the only reason. Here's why they make that trade, Frank. The Jets called them up and said, "Hey, Minnesota, Denver just called us up, and they want to trade with us. We're going to let them trade unless you want to do something better." That's the only reason.
So that means the Jets had to get a second rounder or another pick.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah.
If the Jets got a second rounder, I got to tip my hat to Joe Douglas.
Correct. Yeah, and they're still going to wind up with the guy they wanted anyway, right? Because there's no way in the world they're taking Brock Bowers or anybody else. So yeah, it's a really good job by Joe Douglas. If he winds up with a second round pick, even if he got a 3 out of this, I would still say, you know what, you picked up an extra piece and you're still getting the same exact guy you would have gotten. And yeah, Frankie, it's not dumb it's dumb if you like both of those guys. But if your heart was set on JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix, and the Jets called up and said, "Hey, the guys behind you called up and they're looking to make a trade. I'll give you a chance to beat it." I think that's why they make that trade. So
listen, that's far from dumb. The Jets have a second round pick.
Yeah,
they had to take it.
No, I think he's saying basically, why would Minnesota make that trade? It didn't make any sense.
Because Denver, they might have known Denver was going to make a call.
Correct. No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that the Jets called him up and said,
if you're scared,
yep,
you got 4 quarterbacks off the board already.
Yep.
And if you're scared and you want to get a quarterback now, do you really want to go into next season with Sam Darnold as your number one?
Yeah, this is a very smart move for the Jets because they're going to get an extra pick and the same player they were going to get 5 minutes ago. So this is a very smart move by Joe Douglas.
For Minnesota, pick is in.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's one of the quarterbacks. I'm going to say it's McCarthy. I think everybody it was so enamored with him. I would be shocked if it was Bo Nix. I'm going to say
best available Turner from Alabama, best fit JJ McCarthy from Michigan.
Yeah, I don't buy that, but that's where I think it's headed. We'll see. Let's they get 4. They got a 4 and a 5. Now, not as good as I would have liked to see the Jets get. So the Jets get a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick, and the Jets gave up a 6th round pick. I would like to have seen them get a 3 in that, Jeff. But can you live with the 4 and getting the extra 4? Can you live with the 4 and 5? To me,
at this point in time, I don't know what picks the Jets have because I know they swapped some picks with Denver.
Yeah. Well,
I don't remember exactly what they have.
But you know why why it's good no matter what? You picked up 2 extra picks that either you can package to somebody else or you can make a couple extra picks. You're getting the same player. Either way, the Jets wind up with more picks than they started out with and the same player they were going to draft there. So to me, it would have been great to get a 2 or a 3, but at the end of the day, they came out of it with more than what they came away with. I think this is a good job by the Jets. I'm interested to see who the pick's going to be. I guess they must have been afraid that Denver or the Raiders were going to jump up ahead of them and grab the quarterback they wanted. So we're going to see the 5th quarterback come off the board inside the first 10 picks.
Well, you're assuming, but I mean, it's definitely a smart assumption.
Yeah, I think to think anything else would be crazy.
Let me ask you something. Do the Jets make a trade with Denver?
Well, the only question again then would be so here's where the Jets are in a good spot. At that point, there's one of the top 6 quarterbacks left on the board. It's Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy. And are the Raiders or the Broncos going to fight for that pick? Because again, somebody trades with the Jets and jumps up, the Jets are going to get the same exact guy and they're going to draft capital. So yeah, if I'm the Jets, I'm on the phone to both guys and say, all right, they're about to take one of the quarterbacks. Do you want the other guy? Because your other friend just called up and offered me something. So, if the Raiders or the Broncos are keen on getting the last quarterback, the Jets could pick up some more picks right there and drop down a little bit again. So let's see. I think Joe Douglas could come out of here getting the same exact play he wanted and getting 3 extra draft picks.
Well, either that or they could package what they just got for it too.
Sure. Yeah. Again, I think that's the possibility. If Denver and or the Raiders are keen on the last quarterback, the Jets are sitting pretty. And we'll see. We'll see if Joe Douglas sprinkles a little dust on it and comes up with some magic. But if that's the case and he drops back 1 spot, 2 spots, comes out with Brock Bowers and 3 extra picks, I'll tip my hat to the man.
I'll tell you this much right now. Mm-hmm. If they drop down again, picks, it's definitely going to make taking Brock Bowers a little bit better.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with you.
You would still have your pick of any offensive tackle you
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah. No, I in fact, to me at that point, Jeff, it even makes more sense to take the offensive tackle because you're getting real good value at that point, right? Think about it. You're getting the second best offensive lineman in the draft.
Well, there was 2 offensive linemen taken so far. All Latham.
Yeah, but I don't think Latham should not have been drafted that high. The kid out of Penn State's a better player.
Latham was the 5th best in his position.
Yeah.
23rd overall, and he got a grade of a 90.
Yeah.
Joe Alt was the 4th overall, and was graded 94.
Yeah, I think the kid out of Penn State is a better player. Latham's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not a reach. It's not a terrible pick. I would have just taken. So to me, it would almost even make more sense if you're the Jets to say, "Hey, I traded down, went 3 picks, and I got the offensive tackle of the future at number 10 or 11." That's a great move. But let's say they're going to hold on to Bowers. I think the Jets are still they still have done their due diligence. But let's see. Right now, let's see what the pick is, and then we'll see if the Jets make a trade with one of the two teams right behind them who desperately need quarterbacks. So again, Hard Rock and Sports. This is Jeff and Tom. We're going to hang in there till probably pick number 12 for the Denver Broncos, and then we'll wrap this up. I got an early start tomorrow, but this has been a blast, man. 9:20. This show has flown by. We got to watch an interesting first round, but not the first round I thought we were going to see. I would have thought this some of these trades would have happened much earlier.
Pick, man.
Here comes the commissioner, according to our good buddy Frank Catalano. So let's see what Minnesota does here. Again, if it was me picking, I would tell you this is going to be J.J. McCarthy going to Minnesota, who is desperate for their future quarterback. They have a quarterback room that does not scare anybody.
No, it does not.
Sam Darnold, Jaron Hall, and Nick Mullins. Frankie, who's the pick? The commissioner's coming out on the screen right now for me, but I'm sure Frankie's ahead of us at this point.
Yeah, I think my screen is frozen. It's said the pick is in longer than it took them to make the pick.
Yeah, Goodell's on stage. He's got 4 people with him. Team something. I can't read that.
Usually when he brings that many out, they have Down syndrome or something.
No Down syndrome on the stage at the moment. But we're waiting. Yeah, it's a whole. He is talking with a family. I don't. Again, we're still waiting for the pick. Come on, Roger. So he's gonna say something, and then the mom seems to have the.
Do they boo him to the point where you can't hear him?
No, I think they're done with the booze. Let's see. Let's get the lady up there. Let's let her make the pick. Obviously, they're Vikings fans. 2024 NFL Draft here on Hard Rocket Sports. Jeff, Tom, and the gang hanging with you tonight, and it's J.J. McCarthy according to Frankie. Not a shock.
Yep, J.J. McCarthy. Now let's see something. Does Denver or what's his face, the Raiders, trade with the Jets? I want to see if that happens.
Well, now if you're the Jets, they're on the phone to both of those teams to say, okay, the last big quarterback is left. Who wants him? And that's going to be the question mark. J.J. McCarthy, the future Zach Wilson, is pumped up in his house. He got drafted number 10 inside the 10th round. Outside the first round at number 10. So we'll see. Hope they lose another 4 Super Bowls. Yeah, yeah. This is not. Let's see. I'm just answering some text messages.
Frank, I'm hoping that your boys want to wheel and deal with the Jets. Would be nice.
Yeah, I don't.
The Jets pick is in. The Jets pick is in.
Okay, so the Jets are staying tight. Nobody wanted to make the trade, so the Jets we're going to look at Brock Bowers.
Man, that didn't take long at all. Please let it be an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think you're going to be a little disappointed. I think it's going to be Bowers.
Well, they said best player available is Turner, which nobody has taken.
Nope.
And best fit, Brock Bowers. Please be fucking offensive lineman, please.
Yeah, I would hope that they're going to go off the reservation and take an offensive lineman here, but it'd probably be Bowers. Again, Jeff, we're at pick number 11, and again, still no defensive play is taken. And Frankie, your team is probably going to take Bo Nix, and it's too early. But are they that desperate? Yeah, it's been announced on my screen. The Jets pick is in. We're waiting on it now. We'll see where it plays out. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tough. Again, I got a bunch of people texting me off the air, so I'm trying to answer everybody. So interesting. I'm not sure why the Vikings made this move for a quarterback that I think is questionable. But hey, if you like them, go get them. They did. No defensive players off the board. We've got 5 quarterbacks in the top 11, Jeff. When that season happened, right, when all the quarterbacks went, I believe Lamar Jackson went late.
Lamar Jackson was 32nd.
Was he 32nd?
Yeah, he was at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, so there was 5 taken, and that was in the first 32. theoretically, we could have coming up 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12 or 13 picks.
Yeah.
So to me, that is.
This is the premium that the NFL has put on that position.
Is that true? The Jets won a playoff game in 2010, right?
No, they haven't.
No, then they won it with was it 2010? What year was they went the one back-to-back playoffs? That wasn't the 90s.
Yeah, am I with Mark Sanchez?
Yeah, that's the 2009, 2010.
Something like that.
Yeah, they won 2 in a row with your boy, the great coach,
Rex.
Yeah, Rex Ryan. No, it wasn't 98, Frankie.
Oh, definitely not 98.
I think Frankie's trying to twist your balls a little bit. I think Frankie's just trying to break your balls a little bit.
Listen, I can say this much, okay? He can say whatever he wants. His team traded for Zach Wilson. Enough said right there. Enough said right there. At least the Giants, they at least didn't they sign Geno Smith as a free agent? Paid for him.
Yes, they signed him as a free agent. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, Denver actually signed this fucking guy. They not signed him, but they fucking traded for him. You got to be kidding me.
I'm just answering somebody, and it's okay. So here comes the commissioner. Jets are on the clock. They're coming out. Frankie, give it to us.
Lineman.
Wow, nice.
Oh my God, this is fucking good.
Yes. So the Jets shocked everybody here.
Yes, they did.
They took. Let's see who they take. I'm curious which one it is.
Fashuna.
Penn State. Okay, this is a really nice pick by the New York Jets. This tells me that Joe Douglas is paying attention, and they have, first off, no faith in Tyron Smith, but they have decided that this is a good, solid player who is a little bit below Joe Alt, but this is a guy who can play, and this is a really good pick and a great job by Joe Douglas to not only get a guy that they can use and can be there for 10 years, but they picked up a couple draft picks along the way, Jeff. This is a good job by Joe Douglas. This is solid GM work right here.
Listen, maybe the whole Brock Bowers thing was a smokescreen.
Absolutely, sure.
Or these guys dropped so much that he's like, we have to take this guy. We have to. It's not a matter of that there may be like, why did we take this guy Smith? You have 2 33-year-old tackles on 1-year deals. Yeah, you have to. I think it's awesome, man. Yeah, I really think it's awesome. That is a good move. I like this move, man. Thank God. You know, if by some chance, just so we know, best player available is Turner, and best fit is looks like a quarterback, Mitchell from Q Mitchell. I don't know who it is. Quinion Mitchell.
Yeah, the Jets. Matt's breaking the Jets' balls on their pick. He thought they should take Bowers. Again, Bowers is a luxury. The Jets don't have the ability to have a luxury yet. They need to keep 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers or whoever's playing quarterback at this point upright, and having Bowers is a luxury. What's up, Al Mansueto?
Listen, I think about what the Jets have as an offensive line. This could be the best pick. This is awesome. This is an awesome pick.
Yes, I think this was again to a lot of people's point. I get it. Bowers is going to be an offensive force. He might do really well. The Jets need offensive line help. If things turn into what they did last year, it would be a disaster for them, and they need to win now. I don't know if this kid's going to play right now, Jeff. He might be the right tackle for a year. He may push Tyron Smith to right tackle. I don't care. To me, this is a great insurance policy. This is a kid who can play immediately somewhere. And if I were the Jets, this is exactly the kind of guy I would have got. And we called it early and said if we were picking, we'd go offensive tackle. And Joe Douglas did a great job here.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not digging his weight, 312 Although I have a connection to 312, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay.
That's my wife's birthday. She
Yeah.
finds 312 on everything. But that's what he weighs as an offensive tackle. Little light, but he's 17th overall ranking, third in his position, and he got a grade of a 91.
Mm-hmm.
So not a bad pick.
Now I would tell you this on the Jets next round, if I were them, start thinking quarterback along the way. I would get a quarterback who's got some ability and stash him on the thing, because now to me, you've had a good offseason. You did a nice job in the offseason fixing things. You got Williams. You've made a nice draft pick here. The Jets have done a solid job. You're going to have a Breece Hall second year after the surgery. Aaron Rodgers back. Think about your future. If the Jets could come out of this pick with one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the draft, they've done a really spectacular job here. But this is a good pick. I don't care what anybody tells me. This was the right pick. So here's Denver's pick. We're going to hang for this one, and then we're going to call it a night. It's 9:30. I appreciate everybody hanging in there. If you're a football fan, this draft went a lot quicker once they got through the first couple picks. Not a lot of surprises early. I would say the first 4 picks went off pretty smooth. Number 5 with the Chargers taking Joe Alt kind of turned things upside down a little bit. I'd say, Jeff, the biggest surprise, of course, is the Falcons taking Michael Penix at number 8. I think we were surprised that they went quarterback in that spot and that quarterback.
Yeah, I hear that, Tom. I'm gonna take a leak again, man.
Well, go ahead, do what you do. All right, we're waiting on the Broncos pick, and then we'll end the show right here. It's a little crazy, but guys, it's been an interesting draft. Again, no major surprises for me. I should say the Falcons are surprised. The Jets have done a nice job. They trade down and they still come away with a solid pick. The Vikings moved up. They got their quarterback. Again, I struggle with it. Again, 11 picks in, no defensive players picked. 5 quarterbacks off the board. I would never have thought this. One out there. Does Bo Nix go here? Let's see. Jets will not waste a pick on the quarterbacks. They are left. Yeah, Frankie. Alan, I agree with you that the Jets need to take a receiver. But if I were them, I would grab a quarterback along the way, and just see right now. What could you get? 2 more years out of Rodgers? If you can kind of grab somebody later in the draft, 3rd round, 2nd round, 4th round. I don't think they have a 2nd round pick, but they need to grab themselves a quarterback along the way, and see. But I think the Jets did a great job with him. He's a solid, a better than solid player. Again, there's still so many guys out there that the Broncos could go with. The question is it here for Bo Nix? Yeah. And Alan brings up a good point. Do you think, Jeff, that maybe, just maybe, Aaron Rodgers had a little bit of influence on that pick?
You got to think so. I mean, I think that maybe the Jets were just blowing smoke around. And
Bo Nix. Okay, Frankie. Bo Nix. Wow. So we've had 6 quarterbacks go off in the first 12 picks. There he is. Not a surprise. This is not a surprise. Denver's desperate for quarterback. Now, if you're the Raiders, your quarterback options are gone. The Raiders quarterback room, just so you guys know, right now is Anthony Brown Jr., Gardner Minshew, and Aiden O'Connell. So
let me ask you something. What happens to Zach Wilson, man? Is
Bo Nix in this guy's not too trash. McCarthy, but yeah, Alan, I thought Penix going 8 to the Falcons was way too high. I think McCarthy going Penix, Bo Nix, and JJ McCarthy are all minimum 2nd, probably all 3rd round picks. These guys are not top quarterbacks. These are teams picking based strictly on need and not where guys belong. And hey, listen, that's fine if you love a guy. These guys don't have that ability. They just don't.
Listen,
Um,
I hate to jump off that subject, but I got to jump back on this one.
which one?
Zach Wilson is sitting someplace and just felt his heart fall out his asshole.
That is very true. He
You know
was
what I
like, all right, I can win this job. I can win this job. And he just took a quarterback at number 12. He's starting next year. Sorry,
All
Zach.
you heard was, and it just fell right out, man.
Yeah, Zach Wilson just went, all right, call my agent. See who else needs a quarterback. Yeah, that does not bode well for Zach Wilson that they just drafted
No.
Bo Nix. That was okay, guys. We're taking Bo Nix with the pick. Somebody call Zach. Tell him don't unpack.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, that's all, bro. Don't unpack.
Yeah, well, it's true. Think about it. That was the pick of, all right, let's fill up the room because if we don't get the guy we want, we don't get a quarterback. We're going to need to have somebody to play quarterback this year. And they just went, all right, got our quarterback. Everybody else is gone. So, Frankie, you got to be happy you got the quarterback. I think these last three quarterbacks all went too high. The Raiders pick is already in. It's probably, to me, an offensive tackle. But listen, it's been an interesting draft. 6 quarterbacks, Jeff, in the first 12 picks. Not one defensive player picked yet. Very interesting.
Pretty sick, man.
Yeah, not an edge rusher, not a corner. Not one defensive player is come off the board so far. Maybe it'll happen here. I don't know. Let's see what the half man had to say about the draft, Jeff. We almost got off.
Oh my God, look at this. This is great.
Hey, boys, it's me, Tom Ginter, coming to you from above. I hope I have a clear connection. We've been having trouble with the internet up here the last few days. But they tell me everything was okay to go. Fat Man, Tommy Boy, how are you guys been? I wouldn't miss the draft for the world, no matter what. Anyway, here is my predictions. The Raiders are going to hit on every pick. They're going to put together a juggernaut after this year that's going to be capable of winning 10 Super Bowls in a row. It's going to be the greatest team ever assembled to be put out on the field. Do you know why I know this? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because I'm dead and I can't watch it in person. That's why. We hardly get any stations up here. I got to rely on papers that are 3 days old to get the news. It sucks. Anyway, I wouldn't miss the show for the world. I miss you guys, and I hope not to see you for quite some time. Guys, enjoy the show. Later.
Interesting message from above. We've had a couple interesting ones tonight. That's definitely the most interesting. Brock Bowers comes off the board right after the Jets. Again, this guy to me is more of a wide receiver, more than he is a tight end, but a dynamic player. A good pick for them. Again, with 13 picks in, and we still haven't seen the defensive player come off the board yet. This is a very interesting draft for me, and you see the current state in the NFL. So we'll see. This is a good pick. He's a solid player. Problem again is who's throwing him the football. I guess it's going to be Gardner Minshew. But Brock Bowers of Georgia comes off the board. So, they should have kept Wallers probably, Frankie. But, now he may retire. I hope he retires. But listen, guys, it's been an interesting draft. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in and spent some time with us, with me and Jeff. I've had a blast. This has been a lot of fun.
The draft suddenly got interesting for me once the Jets didn't take Bowers, man. Oh, my God.
Jeff just got happy. So I'm sure next Thursday's show, Jeff will have his draft grade for the Jets. And I will tell you, it's probably already an A+ at this point. It kind of won't matter. Frankie, you have a great night. Thanks for hanging with us, brother. See you, Alan. Be good, my brother.
See you later.
But again, guys, we got to wrap this up here. So, hey, listen, thanks to everybody who tuned in with us tonight. Frank Jeffrey, Maddie, of course, Frankie, Allen, everybody. There's a whole bunch of guys early on who popped in with us from all over the country, as a matter of fact. So thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched. We're going to leave you with the Saints on the board with the 14th pick. Maybe they'll get a defensive player. But come in next Thursday night, and Jeff and I will spend a good portion of the show breaking down the NFL draft, especially our two teams. We'll throw some draft grades around, and should be fun. But so first round for both New York teams was a great start so far, and Jeff can't be happier. I can see it on his face.
Oh, how can you not?
Yeah, and I would agree with him. So again, guys,
Joe Douglas picked like he's a man that wants to stay in his job.
Yeah, I would tell you know what, Jeff, that's a great way to put it, because you know what, he could have went for the sexy pick and took Bowers. He took the solid pick, took the offensive tackle, and shored up that offensive line. And that is a great job by Joe Douglas. And he picked up two more picks along the way.
Yep.
So good job by the Jets tonight. Good job by Joe Douglas. Let's pat him on the back when he deserves it. We give guys grief when they don't do a good job. He deserved it tonight. I think the Jets have done a nice job. I don't know what the Falcons were thinking. I'm not sure what the Vikings were doing, making that trade. But listen, it worked out for the Jets, so good for them. It should be an interesting offseason. So again, guys, we're going to wrap it up right here. So I hope you guys have a great night and a great week. So for Jeff Towinski, myself, and everybody at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a great week. Enjoy the rest of the draft. We'll be talking to each other along the way. But we'll see you here next Thursday night when Jeff and I do this all over again. Hefe, great job tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has been, man.
I look forward to Thursday night next week already, and I will definitely talk to you off the air.
You got it, bro.
All right, my man. See you later.
Later, man. Be
Good
good.
night.
Later, guys.